Holy moly, we are sorry we are late. But I wanted you to have this so that you can find us should you come later. Those of you joining us later, welcome. Welcome. Yes, indeed. Before you are once again my obsession, or they are obsessed with me, the illuminating hitchhiking ghosts, or let's just say, for the sake of argument, the hitchhiking ghosts. Yes, indeed. They will be part of our presentation today, and hopefully you will enjoy them. Yes, indeed. Okay, enough about that. Yes, I didn't mean to show you everyone, but how are y'all today? Welcome, and if you're joining us later, please comment below, especially on YouTube. I hope you will subscribe and be a part of this. What is this channel? As I've said before, it's a chance to come out from the cold reality. And oh my goodness, how is some of this weather we're in? It is cold reality, isn't it? Some of you mentioned that you're hip deep in snow, mud, rain. That's us, rain. And all kinds of stuff. So we'll talk about the reality, but this is a chance to come in by the fire, warm yourself, and I'm happy to tell you stories and discuss all kinds of things. And today we've got the questions. This is Ask Me Anything, anything. It's Friday. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling good about Friday? Yes, me too. Um, yeah, yeah. Can you believe January is almost gone? January was a real hit the ground running month for me, actually, and whew, it was yeah. Glad to so much. Glad it's done. One of the things I wanted to show you opening up, and I think you'll enjoy it whether you're here right now live or you're coming back later, is I wanted to show you some pictures of my ghosts. One of the things I did this week is I did a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot. My husband seems to be excellent at this. Actually, I knew he was. He really can take pictures. And it's funny because he's so humble, and but it's really great if you have someone who works with your art or works with your personality or works with your a photographer who knows you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And he's done a fabulous job at knowing me. So he took some very fun and exciting pictures. And what I'm going to do is, what am I going to do here? Thinking. I'm going to put a picture down, down here in the corner. And then I'm going to cut over to here. So take a look at this picture right here, which is kind of eerie, kind of scary, kind of fun and exciting, and really does illustrate Ezra in a very, very nice way. Now, it may be coming across on YouTube and on Facebook as a little bright, but that's because, unfortunately, the lens of, or the camera, I guess, doesn't have the sensitivity as your eye. And I've said this before, I really wish that you guys could hold these in your hands because they are pretty spectacular. But we'll go through and show you. This was the picture I had at the opening. And it's just really kind of like, ooh, don't you think? Anyway, I think so. I think it's that way. And then he did some great close-ups of the characters. If you have purchased a set of these, it's a chance for you to see these. If you haven't, it's a chance of you to consider it, okay? But this is not a sales pitch. This is just me wanting to share with you sculptures that I'm very proud of and photos I'm very proud of. So I'm just going through them so that you can see them. Aren't they fun? I'm really, really happy about them. Details. These are my blacklight ghosts. Now, I think I mentioned these on Monday. This is the way they look without the blacklight. They look like little stone ghosts. And they are my beautiful, exciting, fun, and more affordable ghosts. And I think I mentioned that the reason I did this was because I had a challenge with COVID-19. Reality did come in my door. I tried to keep it out, but reality came in my door and I took a hit in my business and had to suggest this to the illuminators. They raised in price suddenly because the manufacturer kind of, sideswiped me. But, you get sideswiped, you kind of deal with it. You make lemons out of lemonade, orange juice out of oranges, and you make it happen. But from that, I ended up having these amazing ghosts. And I thought I'd show you the photos of them. So he shot some moody ones. Isn't this a fun one? Some real, look at that one. That's like my favorite. I love this one. It's so scary. Everything's a puppet with me. Have you noticed that? Anyway. I'm terrible. Oh, I guess it doesn't do it. I was going to try and do it, so you could see it, but it doesn't. It's not that sophisticated. Here's Gus. Here's some more really cool ones of Gus and of Professor Phineas. I just thought these just came out fabulous. Isn't that one kind of woo, They really are fun. And here is another picture of me. It's very dark to you. I don't know if it's registering on the classic cameras, but here it is. And I'm just showing you the blacklight effect. And then what I ended up doing is here's one where you can really see the blacklight effect. So there you go. Later, I'm going to do some like turning the lights on, lights off, not later today, but maybe on Monday, I can demonstrate for you the blacklight stone effect from my husband shot some pictures of them in the same position with the lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. So you saw the stone ghost, then you saw the blacklight version of the ghost. And they really are really, really cool. Really, seriously cool. Look at that. So this is an alternative to the illuminating ghosts. If your budget doesn't allow for the illuminating ghosts, these are a little more affordable. And then if your budget doesn't allow for both, I understand. But those of you who don't know me, my figures, my little figures that I do, all end up being about a couple $100 each. So if you figure just with the ghosts, if they were by themselves, they would probably be a little more pricey because I've got these effects happening with them. So I have to treat them, my team has to treat them a lot more gingerly. So basically my point is that to create the black light effect, to create the platforms that I wanted to do, you guys wanted them separate. So we made them separate. And they're cool. They're super cool. So that set, because it's not only the set, but the presentation that I do, I give every single set a certificate of authenticity. I design the boxes because I want them to be an experience for you. So it's not just like you're going to get a ghost wrapped up in white tissue paper or newspaper or something. Oh, yeah. White tissue paper or bubble wrap. Let me say that again. You may not even know what a newspaper is, right? Okay. Well, all right. But it wrapped up, my point is that they're just bubble wrapped and sent to you after you spent a few $100s. I just think that's really not cool. And I kind of get that as an Imagineer. I know that there are a couple of things that I thought were very interesting that Disney has brought out and kind of did real good, but kind of fell short, my opinion. So that keeps me on track, looking at what they have and what they're offering and how they're doing it. Makes me realize how I want to improve my work. Or if I see something that they do really well, I go, wow, that was super amazing. Let me just get that happening. So yeah. So I wanted to show those to you because I thought they were super fun. And I hope you enjoyed that as the opening to our AMA, just to allow those of you, those of you tuning in, you can look at the ghosts, fast forward. Coming in later is cool because coming in live is the best, right? But if you miss something, you could go back and watch it. And that's one of the things I like about coming later is I can just, make a note of, where it is, approximately where it was, and go and look at it again if I want information or I want to just pause it and stare at it for a while. There's benefits to both live and watching it after. And I hope you will, and I hope you'll share it if you know someone who has some ghosts. If you are in the January wave of illuminating ghosts, they go out on Saturday. So just so you know, it took me a while. Yes, it did. And I apologize for that. It's still January, though. I just said January. But they will go out. They'll go out January 30th. Yay! And you should get them early February. You were probably thinking you would get them in January, and I would have loved to have gotten them to you in January. But closing out the year turned out for me to be a lot more extensive than I thought. Again, reality kind of go, and then it didn't. It got in. Reality got in. Okay. So the Ask Me Anything. Someone is asking about obtaining a license to Disney characters. What if it is something you created as an employee or contractor? It's a little interesting, okay? If you are a sculptor and you do a one of a kind, it's 50% yours. You'll notice if you Google me or you look at my past history in my art that I don't necessarily copy the characters. The ghosts are a perfect example because you noticed that they are, let me just get a picture. I'm going to go backwards, kind of give you the idea what I'm talking about. Okay, here they are. I'm going to show you these guys again. All right. Okay, so if you look at these guys right here, you'll notice that they're not like any other set of hitchhiking ghosts. They are my interpretation of the ghost characters. And this makes them, a percent of them mine, because they're my designs using somebody else's characters. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, they are, I can't go into it now. It's too long and involved. But I'm an Imagineer. So right now, collect while you can, because things can change, can't they? Let's take the Jungle Cruise, for example, or the fact that we might be getting a Princess and the Frog ride. Disney can change on a dime. So what's happening now as opposed, but as an Imagineer, as long as I'm good to the brand, I actually am advertising for the brand for now. You understand that, right? For now. So, so that's kind of how it's working for now, the unspoken kind of thing. I hope that answers it to you. What's the first thing you want to do when the virus is gone? Travel. I want to get on a plane. What is the first thing you want to do when the virus is gone? Is travel and see a huge group of my friends. And actually, I'd like to travel to Europe. I miss all my people over there, all my good friends over there in the United Kingdom, Paris, and everybody over there. I miss you guys so bad it hurts. But right after, I would like to go to some place where we could all meet and say hello to each other and sit and have a sandwich or a coffee or something. I want to see you guys live. I really do. I'm missing that. I'm sure you are too. I want to be able to give somebody a hug without worrying. When hugging started to be an issue, it was the Me Too movement, wasn't it? Men would say, "Is it okay if I hug you?" Which is good, very smart, actually. But I am a hugger. I never thought that the people that hugged me were doing anything inappropriate. So maybe I was lucky that way. I'm not saying that, every hugger is inappropriate, and I'm not saying that they are. But the point is that it made me think, okay? Forgive me. It made me think. It made me, when a man walked up and said, "May I hug you?" It made me think, maybe I should have thought a little more. And so it's an interesting thing because I never thought about that. When someone gave me a hug, that's not where I went. But I'm sure that's not where other people went too. It's when it happens. So there was a thing called the casting couch. I don't think it happens as much now. Maybe it does, But when that happened to me, I was shocked because I'm not stunning. You know what I mean? I am cute and funny, and I'm very proud to be cute and funny. Okay. My sister is stunning. I know people who are stunning. Halle Berry is stunning. She's gorgeous. I don't know if she wakes up that way, but I remember thinking when I was doing the Flintstones, wow, whoo, that woman is beautiful, So I always assumed, which I shouldn't do either, that only beautiful, stunning women got casting couch, were put in that horrible situation. But I was put in that horrible situation. I was a very young girl. I was underage. And luckily, I had a good right hook because that was the ending of the agent who was trying to cast me in something. That's how they wanted to cast me. So it's out there. And my agent, the people that would, well, it was like casting agent, right? Casting director. I'm sorry, guys. Those of you who are casting agents, casting director. My agent just warned me about it. I mean, and think how I'm 63. They warned me about it when I was just breaking in and I was, 17, 18 years old. So a hug, coming down to a hug, and he didn't just hug me, he actually didn't. I remember the situation where my hair was all out like this, and he just spoke what he wanted. He didn't hug me. He didn't touch me. He just said, in order for you to move forward, you need to be doing this with me. That's what he said. And I remember standing there and looking behind me. Me. But, and that's not an esteem problem. I want you to understand, I'm very, very happy about who I am, but I was shocked. I mean, I don't wear makeup. I am quirky and funny and vivacious and sparkly, but I don't consider myself one of those, cover of Vogue beauties. In fact, this brings me to auditioning. I've been doing a lot of auditioning, and auditioning for television and film is different with the pandemic. We're doing it on video. So we set up an iPhone or a camera of sorts. iPhone usually is what I use. And we self-tape. That's what it's called. We self-tape the audition. And yesterday, a couple days ago, I had an audition for a new show called Listen. And my husband shot, because you need to have somebody be your reader, which means that if the dialogue goes back and forth, then someone is out of camera range and they're, talking to you, and then you perform, you do your character, whatever it is. Anyway, my husband is my reader. So he also became my filmmaker. But when I saw the self-tape that I was going to send to a very, very, very well-known casting director, I just was fascinated at how good it looked. And I'm not talking about the acting. I am so excited. I was so excited to see that my hair looked gray. I've been dying to have it gray, guys. Oh, gosh, I really want to have gray hair. I want to look more my age. I know, it's weird. I saw character begin to be in my face. I could actually see a little bit of character, and I'm a character actress. So this is what I want. This is what I dream about, is being this character person. And although I don't know that I was right for the role, I did my best. man, I was fascinated at how cool the image looked that I was going to send to these this audition, because I had not really scrutinized how I looked. And I've looked nice and unusual because I've had dreadlocks for a long time, and I've always been one of those people that's unusual looking. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I'm starting to get character, like two very beautiful people that we lost this week. Cicely Tyson, whom I adore, just adore Cicely Tyson, and Cloris Leachman, Frau Blucher. I just, I don't want to lose an icon a day. I don't want to lose a generation. It broke my heart to lose them. I love them. I love them. And I actually got to meet Cloris Leachman at a Emmy event. And my husband won a many. And she was sitting in the front, and I just had to say hello because she's so special. She's so very, very, very special. And it was great to have a short, sweet conversation, basically me telling her that she was amazing and her saying thank you. Why, thank you, dear. But yeah, I don't want to lose those people. I love those people. They had good runs. Yeah, both of them had some real good runs. I hope I follow in their footsteps, but I still miss them. So isn't that what it's about? That you miss them? Okay. Do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal? Gosh. Absolutely no. Absolutely no. I don't take that light to be, but absolutely. Oh, yes, I do. In fact, I've seen a couple. So I've seen a couple ghosts, and it was an experience. It was an experience. My dog saw, I was living in a house I was renting years ago before my husband came back and rescued me from my life, or made my life all the better. You know how you make, consider yourself a baker and you're baking something, but the cake just isn't happening. And then that final ingredient, pow, it's amazing. Well, that's my husband. So before that, my dog was in the hall of my house, and he stopped. And anytime I tried to approach him to see what was wrong, he growled at me. And then he growled at something that wasn't there. And then he watched. So my dog was like, "Urgh." And then my dog went, "Urgh." And if I came forward, he would go, "Urgh." And then all of a sudden, my dog went from this to, dogs are funny that way, aren't they? But that told me that the ghost or aberration or whatever it was that was bothering my dear Jeffrey was gone. Yeah. So a couple of situations like that. When my husband moved into the house we are now living, we decided to hire my best friend, who is an expert at renovating. She is so good. She's no longer here. Not gone like that, but she's in Indiana, and it's a little far for her to travel to fix our house. But she was refinishing our hardwood floors. We had pulled up the carpets of the house that was built in 1941. And she helped us pull it up, and she said, "There's gorgeous floors under here. Let me refinish them." And we said, "Sure." Well, while she was refinishing the floors, she saw an aberration in the doorway of an elderly woman. And the elderly woman didn't say anything. She didn't approach. And my best friend is like me. You know, we don't get frightened. I think we've seen too many things like Sixth Sense, where maybe it's a call for help, or maybe I'm tethered to the earth and I really want to go have my party up in heaven or up in the afterlife, or whatever you want to call it. And so the aberration is down there because of unfinished business. This is one of the theories, or one of the things that people say, is if you come across a spirit, that they have unfinished business. And so what is it? My best friend spoke out loud, and she said, "Are you worried about your home? Is this your home?" The aberration didn't do anything, just stood there. And she said, "Well, if this is your home and you've been worried about the inhabitants, because a couple of people that had my husband's house, this house, before us were kind of, we don't know what they were doing, but wasn't cool. It was weird, like office desks and pennies everywhere, upside down, inverted. When my husband moved in, very strange and weird. So my friend spoke to the apparition and said, this couple is really lovely. They're going to take really good care of your house. They're going to love it, because it will be their own eventually. This is the house that they will both live in once they marry. And I hope that makes you feel better. And she disappeared and she's never returned. So maybe that was it. Maybe that was the last thing. The house was special to her in her time period. And boom, that was super important to her. So, ooh. I mean, it's cool. I mean, if you were a ghost, wouldn't you want to be someone that sort of watched out for people, looked over your shoulder, made sure they were okay, kind of a thing? I think so. And I think the afterlife is going to be really amazing. I really do believe in it. I don't think this is all we have. And if you've seen that show, Surviving Death, fascinating show. And what I love about it, and hopefully maybe one of those people who do that production will cross this feed, is that they don't make it all woo-woo and ethereal. And it's a thing, I know if you looked at it and you looked at the title card and you go, "Ooh, Surviving Death," it's probably a lot of people saying some stuff and it's all one-sided, but it actually is very two sides of the coin. It talks about people who are very skeptical and how they're dealing with some of this stuff, or if they've actually had a near-death experience, and how they, coming out of it, live their lives, because many of them talked about the challenges of living their life after having had such an experience. It's almost like it's surreal. It didn't happen. Like you're walking around, and the stories are just amazing. Whether you believe it or not, take it for the face value, take it for someone asking questions. Don't get angry. Try not to get angry. Don't dismiss it. Just enjoy it. I really love the show. It's some beauty. It's fascinating, and it's very interesting. It makes me think. There's one guy I absolutely adore on the show, and he's very skeptical. He's very skeptical, and he really calls it out. These what did he call them? Psychics, but that's not the word he called them. Mediums, I think he called them. But maybe not. He said it's easy for them to say, "I'm seeing the color blue," for example. And he said, that's so general. Somewhere in my life, I might have seen the color blue, don't you think? Or is there someone named John in your family? And he said, I'm sure somewhere way deep and back, there's somebody named John in my family. That's too general. I need specifics. And so you're he puts you, if you were a medium who says you can reach the other side, the afterlife, and communicate with spirits, he really puts you through your paces. And you see that in this show. He's not going to let you off easy. He's not going to just be all in. He's very, and when you watch him, it's fascinating. So it's called Surviving Death, and it's on Netflix. So I encourage you to check it out if you're somebody who believes in ghosts, if you're somebody who's skeptical about ghosts, you just maybe like ghosts, or you like this kind of discussion, which I do. I love these kind of discussions. I love this. I believe in heaven. So I really want heaven to be where I cross over and they go, you've been so good, you get wings. Sit on a cloud and fly around and take care of people. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure they do something amazing. So that's my thinking. That's my thinking. It doesn't have to be yours. And again, if you're in a debate like this with somebody and you have a different view, remember to stick to your view and don't get personal to that individual. It's not about attacking the person. It's about discussing the other point of view. It's about discussing point of views. I love a good debate and discussing different points of view. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I have a dear friend who we're constantly having these different opinions about The Mandalorian. So his name is Mark, and you can see Mark's work under Mark Maniac on Instagram. He's brilliant pumpkin sculptor. Anyway, he and I will have these little debates that are just wonderful, and he's really good. The other thing I love about him is he's quite a bit younger than me. So I get to see how Star Wars and The Mandalorian and things like that unfolded in his life, because he's quite a bit younger than me. So it's something that I might not have learned had I not been open to his point of view. And I don't I mean, if you talk to Mark, he would go, oh, she disagrees all the time. And I do, as far as that's concerned. But he suggested I rewatch Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars. And I'm doing that. It's not fast because I don't watch a lot of TV, and Mark understands that because neither does Mark. We're constantly working on creating. We want to create as much as possible. So but I am, and I'm liking it. I'm keeping Mark in mind because he's trying to illustrate a point for me. And I might just get a better view of where he stands if I keep my heart and my head open to the debate, right? So that's all these people are saying on this show. And I think she does it very well. The writer is part scientist, part dreamer. So she's battling, But, the show is amazing. And I know you didn't ask. Well, you did sort of ask that question. But, The next one is, what cereal is your favorite? Oh, you guys are so cute. What a nice question. What cereal is my favorite? Right now, it's Quaker Oat Squares. Have you seen these little oat pillows? I love them. My husband's is Frosted Mini Wheats. He loves those Frosted Mini Wheats. He really does. I think he likes the way they soak up the milk, and then when you bite into them, there's a burst of flavor. I know that if I have them, that's what I like about them. But my favorite is the Oat Squares with raspberries, fresh raspberries. That combination of that crunch with that tart. I'm a tart freak, so I really do. Raspberry is one of my favorite fruits on the planet. Don't get me too close to raspberries because I love them. My husband loves blueberries and blackberries. I like blueberries very much, but raspberries are my go-to fruit. I just love them. Not this kind, but the fruit, the little red fruit. I also like pomegranates because they're like a puzzle. You can spend an hour eating a pomegranate, can't you? You're just like, but anyway, my favorite cereal right now. When I was a kid, my favorite cereal was Lucky Charms. Can you imagine? Sugar Rush. But I just love the marshmallow treats, green clovers, pink hearts, blue diamonds, magically delicious. Yeah. What's that about? When I was a little girl, I watched quite a bit of television. It was the kind that you get up and turn the channel. Yeah. No remote. But as a little kid, the commercials fascinated me. And so when my mother would sit me in the shopping cart and she'd put my legs through in the shopping cart and she'd push me around, I'd sing every jingle. I'd sing Silly Rabbit, Tricks for Kids. I'd say the slogans. I would sing the jingles and everything. And people would say, what a precocious young child. She should be on TV. Because I could just mimic so many things. And I think that's why as a voiceover artist, I'm good today, because I tend to be able to do a multitude of voices, and I like it. It's a lot of fun. So yes, that's where it comes from. So magically delicious. That was my favorite as a kid. Trying to think of, my parents kept trying to have me eat Raisin Bran, but I'm sorry, that's nasty. And it's not nasty because it's Raisin Bran. It's nasty because the flakes don't hold up. you pour milk on and they're cement like in 2 seconds. So you're like, so I wouldn't mind Raisin Bran if they made a heftier flake and it didn't become raisin cement. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like to eat raisin cement. And then those of you who know me, you know I adore oatmeal, just about any form of oatmeal. I love oatmeal. Not any form. I like the steel cut, but I'll eat it cold. That's how much I like oatmeal, is I'll eat it cold. My husband is not a fan of oatmeal that much, but he's eating it because his cholesterol's up. And oatmeal's a great way of getting your cholesterol down. Just note to self. So we eat oatmeal most of the, I used to always eat eggs, a little bacon, because I love eggs in the morning, but he has been told to cut back on his eggs. So we only have eggs 2 days a week. And I look so forward to those days because I'm an egg freak. I love them hard boiled. Love that. I don't think there's a way. I used to love them raw until it was said that you could get salmonella from them. So maybe the how you say, the inspection of them is slipped or something. I don't know. But remember the store Orange Julius? Oh, that was such a good store. They would put some magic ingredient with orange juice and it just tasted so delicious. I used to put a raw egg in it. It was just that extra body that just sent me over the moon. And I would have those as a kid all the time. I just love those. So I know this is more than you asked for with the cereal question, but I want to thank you for asking that question. That is a really fun question. What was your favorite breakfast as a kid? My father used to make pancakes, and he used to do Mickey Mouse. Way before Mickey Mouse was a big deal, he would make Mickey Mouse. So, you've got the Mickey Mouse pancake maker and waffle makers now. Well, he would just pour the pancakes in a mouse shape and do the mouse shape. Sometimes he would try to get more creative, but pancakes is definitely one of my favorite, and French toast. But I think the thing that will send me over the moon, and thank you for asking about breakfast, it's my favorite meal of the day, is toad in the hole. Have you ever had that? Where, here we go with the eggs again, where you take a yummy piece of bread and you take a glass or something and you cut the middle out and then you put an egg in it and you cook the whole thing. So the toast is crispy and the egg is in the middle, all cooked really nice. And oh, guys, you're making me hungry. Ooh, let me have a sip of my shake. I haven't had breakfast yet because I get up so early that a little bit of protein always helps to make you not feel quite so hungry. Anyway, I have to have a protein shake in the morning because I get up early and chat with you guys, which I love. So thank you for that question. Favorite breakfast as a kid, toad in the hole with a couple of pieces of bacon on the side. I love bacon. Everything's better with bacon. I know bacon isn't the best for you, but I'm sorry. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Bacon. My husband and I also like a good steak. We're definitely carnivores, but we've had to limit our steak. So we don't eat red meat except for like once a month. We've had to be, when you get older, you got to be kind of careful about what this does to your body. So we've had to wait. But boy, let me tell you something. When you are only allowed a steak once a month, boy, that steak is good. Or that hamburger is delicious. You know what I mean? And that's what's really funny. We've also noticed that I've cut back on his salt because of his heart and this cholesterol thing. I've cut back on salt. The nice thing about being a couple is I may not need to cut back on salt, but why not? We both do it. It helps us to be successful. If he needs to do it, it must be able to benefit me as well, right? So I cut back on salt. And when we get something that's salty, like the other day we had ordered a pizza and the pizza was so salty, I thought I was going to die. I was like, what did they do? Just open the container? Now, we had this pizza before when we weren't on salt regulations and it did not taste this salty. But that's what happens when you pull back on certain spices. Salt is very important to pull out flavors, but not the whole container. So we've learned, there's some things you learn when you pull back on that. One of my favorite ingredients now to season my eggs, one of the things you can do if you like eggs and bacon is leave your eggs unsalted and eat it with the bacon. The bacon is salty, isn't it? So you get that salty flavor without adding salt. Yeah. So these are kind of the tricks that happens. You can do these things. But also, one of my favorite seasonings is lemon pepper, because pepper is really good for you, and lemon is you. Little tart. There goes that tart again. But yeah, just wow, delicious, right? Okay. What is your favorite color and which one can't you stand? Okay. This is a really impressive question. You didn't think that when you wrote it, did you? My favorite color is it's an interesting question. I think my favorite color is blue, like Stitch blue. It calms me. I love the ocean. So blue ocean, blue waves, crystal blue waters. I'm a real water kid. I love to be near the ocean. I miss it. Okay, that's when I'm really having a meltdown. My husband takes me to the ocean. All right, get in the car. We're going to the ocean, because that calms me. So blue, I would say. Purple is lovely, but a lot of people like purple. So I don't know. I like to be different. And then what color can't I stand? Well, I love all the colors. I'm an artist, so I love all colors. But I have to say that I designed a ride as an Imagineer. I know you weren't expecting this, and I'm actually wearing it red. But as an Imagineer, I helped design a ride called Adventures Through the Body. I think it was like an inner space kind of ride, and it was in Florida. And the main color was red, because you're traveling through the body. The idea was, I think, and you guys might be able to help me on this, but because it's been a while since I designed this ride with a team of Imagineers, but it was like you're traveling down the bloodstream, and you would see things, kind of Fantastic Journey. Fantastic Voyage. Okay, so that old movie where they insert the ship into the bloodstream and it floats up to work on the brain, and then they take them out of the ear. If you haven't seen it, it's very cool. Anyway, Antibodies Come. Oh, that's really a cool movie. Anyway, Disney believed that this would be a fun ride for you all to see. But there was a problem that happened, and it's no longer there because the key color was red. And the problem with red is that it's a danger signal. Think about it. Stop, danger, do not enter, all have to do with the color red. So people were sailing in this ride and getting sick because their brains were processing danger signals, because we are conditioned to the red means stop, red means don't go, red means you bleed, fix that red. You understand? So it's like, so people were going through it and getting very, very ill. And Disney started to do the research, and a scientist came in and said, the color red is a little too real. Maybe we should do something else, like maybe a burgundy or something, but something that doesn't come through to the brain, your subconscious reflex, if you will, reacted to that. So I'd have to say that red is a color, not like wearing it, because this is my part of the magic. Woohoo! Red with Mickey and Minnie in mind, and my hood, which you can't see because I have more hair than is humanly possible, has these dots. So if I put this on and I show you the dots, look at the little dots. They're so cute. They're so cute. The little polka dots. Anyway, so red as a color on clothing is great, but for rides and attractions, you have to be very careful. I had a friend who liked to paint their room red, and I thought, oh my gosh, what's that like to sleep in? But I have to say my favorite color is blue, simply because it has ocean bases. And one more. The basis is in the ocean, and I'm an ocean nut. I love and the air. Okay, so I love dragons, and the dragons are in the sky and they're flying around, and I don't know. I think that's blue is my color. Now, wearing a color, the best color on me are golds and yellows right now. Now, the person, people, I don't know if you've ever saw that book, but a book that says seasonal, like your skin tones are seasonal, and it's not so much that if you're a black person that you are a certain season, like you're always winter. That's not true. Every skin tone has a underlying glow, if you will, that is accentuated by certain colors that you wear. So for me, before I turned gray, now people are saying if I turned gray, it might have a little bit of a change, but I don't think so. I'm definitely a summer. So I've got the yellows, the oranges. You may have saw my sweatshirt that I wore on Monday and people said, oh, it looks really good on you. That's because it's a summer color. So my summer colors are the warm colors. They are much better on me than, say, blues. And the ones that really don't work are winter colors, like olive green. Oh, that just makes me look ill. And so this book is great. I forget what it's called. You're something about season, whatever. But you'll notice when you put certain colors on and you don't feel real great. And I've got an olive green dress I absolutely love. Okay, it's like a shift dress. I found it at a secondhand store, which I love to shop at, by the way. So much fun. Anyway, that I can't get rid of it. It's not up against my face, because the idea is if it's up against your face, that's when the color's bad. If it's down and you wear like a white shirt, a yellow shirt, another shirt with it, or a scarf around your face, you can have that color on you and it doesn't affect the pallor of your skin tone. Isn't that interesting? Who would have thought that this question right here, favorite color, would bring you into that, right? So I encourage you to ask questions like these. This is brilliant. This is beautiful, guys. This is really a nice set of questions. Did you ever have the opportunity to visit the model shop? Did you ever meet Harriet Burns? If so, stories about Harriet Burns. Okay, so the model shop is where I worked. I worked in the model shop at Imagineering, so yes, I visited it a lot. And Harriet Burns, yes, I knew Harriet Burns very well. In fact, I have a book that she signed for me, among other things. Harriet Burns and Harriet Burns was introduced to me by Blaine Gibson. You can see how the freeway sometimes crosses, and then I got to wait for them to clear before I can figure out what's going to come out of my mouth. It's not conscious. It's just pause. Wait, what is going to be said? But Blaine Gibson and Harriet Burns were very, very close friends. Very, very close. And when I finally got to meet Blaine, who was an inspiration to me when I was 8 years old riding on the Jungle Cruise, I saw these amazing sculptures and these amazing characters. And I just said, oh my goodness, who is this man? And the cast member was so sweet because they saw this little 8-year-old riding the Jungle Cruise over and over and over again. Back in that day, maybe there was only a few people and you could just, my parents always knew where to find me at Disneyland because I was on the Jungle Cruise. My favorite ride. I just thought that the sculptures were magnificent. And as a young artist, the cast member said, you know, there's people who make these. These people sculpt these amazing animals and they create these amazing scenes and they're called Imagineers. And maybe you want to be one. And I was like, yeah, I do. And he said, one of the best ones is one of the finest in the business is Blaine Gibson. So I went home and combed through everything I could. Understand there was no internet for me. There was no cell phones. There was no Google. It was newspapers, and it was just anyone I could talk to, anyone I could find, anything I could do. I spent a lot of time at Disneyland asking people, you know, and learning about Blaine. And then finally, years later, I must have been in my 30s or my 40s when I finally got to meet Blaine Gibson. And it was just a joyful experience. He actually sat at my booth at one of Louis Garcia's conventions. And those of you who know Louis, he's an amazing fella, just a sparkly guy, just full of life, and just a great guy. And he was the one who made it happen. He knew how to contact Blaine, and Blaine came and walked over and chatted with me, and it was wonderful. And then we went to dinner after, and Harriet joined us, and we sat and talked art together. She was a hoot. She was a hoot. But there's nothing like if you have someone that has guided your life, you know, in your heart, so let's say it's Walt Disney for you, because many of you, that's who it is, right? This magical man who made this magical land and didn't give up. A man who actually sold his house and then came home and told his wife Lillian he had sold the house to make Disneyland. That kind of a guy. Just a real believer in what he did, even when everyone told him he was a nut. But so he could, let's say he's your inspiration, and then finally there he is standing before you, and you just are so excited to tell him what he meant to you from the time you were a little child till the time you were, I mean, yeah. So to have Blaine actually took my sculptures in his hands, and looked them and turned them over in his hand. He had done a lot of presidents at that time. His work was impeccable and to just be a fraction of his talent as he was, in my opinion. It was great. And when he turned to me and told me I was very talented and that he was very impressed with my work, I was like that dog, that dog who eats stuff and goes, ah! And then he floats up in the air. And, I don't know if he's a Warner Brothers character or whatever, but that was me and that with them. And they both stood there. I remember exactly where I was. I remember the temperature on my arms. It was crisp night. And I remember just what a great, it was awesome. It was just awesome. And he actually visited with me a couple of more times, and she did too. And to be friends with people like that is just cool, Now, honestly, they are down to earth people, Even a person who's famous still has to put their pant legs on one at a time. You've heard it before. One leg at a time. They don't float. They don't fly. They just were, they persevered. They kept going. This is my passion. I want to do it. I want to do it. And they just never gave up, Hearing the story of Cecily and how a woman told her she looked like a model and she should do something about it. And she did. I mean, whoa. And even then, as a young actress, she had rules, which I do too. Okay. As an actress, I think one of the reasons it takes us a little longer is because we're not going to take every part that's out there. And you'll never catch me advertising cigarettes. You'll never catch me smoking, because I'm against it. It's deadly. It's just not my thing. I don't want to be someone who smokes. You won't catch me drinking on camera, water and juice and stuff, but not alcohol. It's just I'm going to have a club soda or something. But there's, my husband says, please, please, Terri, don't get naked. Well, yeah, right. Who's going to ask me? But no, I wouldn't do that. In fact, my agent said one time that I had to be careful being an extra. An extra is someone who is the salt and pepper that fill out a scene to make the scene real. So if you're at a game, extras are the audience in the stands cheering on so like Gladiator, they're all the Romans. Those are extras. Okay. And if you saw the show Extras, that's about people, these kind of people. It's kind of a cool role. It's a lot of fun. And before COVID, there were a lot of opportunities that you could be this if you wanted to do this. It's a great way to learn about film, and it's a great way to see how things are done, because there you are. Also, studio audiences are cool. But again, because of COVID, you don't get to do that. But maybe they'll be able to come back, and you get to watch how things are done, the retakes, how many times they do stuff. And it's fascinating. But my agent said, don't do too many of those, Terri, because you're too recognizable. So she said, and when you're recognizable, sometimes it's hard to then come out of extras into the limelight as an actor. And right now I am what's called a co-star role or an under 5 role. Those are the roles that I usually go out for, is under 5 or co-star. Under 5s aren't successful for me because I look too unusual. And an under 5 is really a bridge between to principal actors, meaning the stars. So I auditioned for Entourage. You remember that show way back when? It's no longer on, but you can watch it, now. This nice thing about these streaming things is you can watch what you missed. But there were 2 actors, and I auditioned to be the receptionist. Well, I couldn't be the receptionist because I was too unusual. And if what happens, you stop at the receptionist, that doesn't work. So I didn't get that role. And that's what many casting directors would say, you've got a place, but that's not it, kind of thing, It's the same when you think of babysitter, and you think of a babysitter, and then I come in to play the babysitter, and you go, that's not really my idea of a babysitter. You know what I mean? So unless they want something unusual and strange, they're going to think of what your vision is babysitter. What picture do you conjure up in your head when you think babysitter, right? So that's not me. So again, that's what my agent wanted me to understand, is that Under 5 is going to be challenging for me, because you have to be that arc that leads you from principal actor A to principal actor B without the camera stopping and going, what did we just see? That girl, what was that? You know what I mean? So co-star roles are more what I go for and seem to land. And I tend to do movies better than commercials. However, commercials are getting more and more unusual, aren't they? So my agent was telling me that, I might be able to be in commercials because they're looking for more unique and unusual individuals. But at the time, they wanted every man and every woman. They wanted actors that looked like you could put yourself in their shoes. And I look so different that there might be some of you that could do that, but not necessarily everybody. So this is the way a casting director works. You may be fabulous, but now we've got to figure out, do you work? Okay. So my agent was saying, you are so unusual that as an extra, you could be face down playing a dead body in a dumpster naked. And people would say to you, Terri, why did you do that? Because I'm recognizable from the back. I know it's a story maybe you didn't want to hear, but I told it anyway. And so there you go. So yes, I not only visited the model shop, but I built. Okay, so let me just quickly show you something. I'm going to get up. I'm going to, old lady paint. No, I'm kidding. We're going to cut to camera 3, and I'm going to take you over here. Let's get that out of the way so you don't have to look at my shake bottle. I'm going to take you back here. Well, I'm going to bring him back here, but I'm going to walk over there. Since you had the model shop question, I'm going to show you my Godzilla. Oh, I just made his tooth break. I'm sorry, G. Come on, spit that out. I didn't mean to break your tooth off. I'll fix it later. Let's put it over here. He's going to talk with a funny accent now because I broke one of his teeth. But anyway, here's my Godzilla. Isn't he fun? Look at him. Hey, don't you just love him? Okay, so why am I showing you Godzilla? And let me just kind of shed some light on the subject. Isn't he cool? My friend painted him for me. I did not paint him. But there he is. Isn't it amazing? He's so cool. Anyway, I sculpted this Godzilla for Tokyo's Second Gate. So Model Shop had a Godzilla, and the Godzilla rose up, and this was the Godzilla this is a copy. So what happened is the Model Shop made me a copy of my sculpture. Isn't that nice to take with me when I left Imagineering? And so he's in my shop now. Isn't he fun? He's so fun. And here he is here. Everything's a puppet with me. Have you noticed that? Anyway, down, G, down. Anyway, Godzilla was in Tokyo Disneyland. They were going to do what's called the Second Gate. And they came over and saw at Universal Studios the King Kong, which I was very actively doing too. Bob Gurr actually worked on that as well, and so did I. Well, if you rode that Universal Studios ride, you remember that King Kong came up and he growled at you and you smelled bananas, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. So in this one, the Tokyo folks, and I wonder if I have a picture of the actual model, since whoever asked this model shop question, let me see if I can kind of help you out a bit. I don't know if I have it, but if I don't, I'll try to pull it up the next AMA. But, you know, take a cute look at G while I see if I can find it, okay? You guys entertain with G, and I'll see if I can find pictures of that. I'm not, like I said, I apologize, but I just don't know if I have it. But I will try and see if I do have it in here. Of the Tokyo Second Gate. In fact, what I'll do is, rather than look there, is I'll look in an album and see if I can find it in an album for you. I won't take too much time because I don't want you guys to feel like, gosh, she's looking through this and not talking to us. I will talk to you while I do this. But if I can find it, you guys will really like it because, but like I said, I'm not sure that I included it in my photos. And if I didn't, I'm more than happy to show you at a later time. It's just, you know, your questions come along and they surprise me. And I'm like, whoops, I should have put that in there. And I didn't. Silly me. But I actually do not see it in here. Doggone it. I would really, really love to have shown that to you. But I do not see it. Rats, as Terry says. Rats. No, it's not in here. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show it to you. But I will. I'm going to make a note of it right here. Right here, I'll make a note to show you Tokyo Second Gate. So on the next second gate, Leo, if you're listening, please put that, and I will get the photos from Tokyo Second Gate, and I can show you how Godzilla was used, okay? It's a little dark from this side because we're getting clouds again, the next wave. But how was Godzilla used? And bless his heart, he's such a sweetheart. But anyway, how was I sculpted him, and he was one of my first projects in the sculpture studio, and I will show you some of the examples of him, and then I'll also show you how he was used in Second Gate. Second Gate didn't come to fruition, and it's kind of sad that it didn't. But what happened is people from Tokyo came and they rode the Universal ride, and they really liked the idea of what happened with King Kong, but they wanted it to be with their icon, G here, Godzilla, and I love Godzilla. And so when I was asked to sculpt it, it was a match made in heaven. I was so excited to be the one chosen to do G, and he's one of my favorite versions. You know, Godzilla came into a lot of versions. In fact, I'm thinking of creating a puppet from the first Godzilla. You know, the little puppet that they used in the first one, Gojira and Godzilla. If you're a Godzilla fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, go watch the movie, you will. It's the cutest little puppet, and it's so goofy looking. But I thought I should make one, and then maybe you guys would want it. You know, I don't know if you want to share it with me and have one. But I think it would be cool. Anyway, this one was going to come up. So the idea was that your little tram car. So let's use this as an example. This would be your tram car, and you're driving in, and then you drive onto a tanker. Tankers were big in Godzilla movies. So you drive onto a tanker, and then Godzilla would rise up like this and go, and it would take his claw, which I also did a claw. Yeah. And he'd grab the side of the tanker, and it would start to pull down as he was looking at you, right? And then you would slide towards G while his coils, let me turn him this way, these coils would start to glow and be fiery, like he was about to zap you. And it was really, really cool. It was really, really, really cool. So the model shop created the tanker and created, look, he's missing his little tooth. I got to put that back in. But they would create the tanker, and they would create the little ride vehicle. And then my Godzilla was the one that rose up, and, you know, this is the sculpture that I made. And then I could have painted him. But honestly, I didn't want to paint him because I had another friend and colleague. Let me stand here. That's better. I had another friend and colleague that was a painter, and she was not really being used in Imagineering very well. Don Carson's wife, and Don Carson is one of the designers of Toontown. I know there's not a lot of Toontown left, but when Toontown was in its heyday, that was Don, and he's a very talented artist, Imagineer. But his wife was also, she's a brilliant painter, and she painted animals, and she loved painting animals. But they had her painting 2-inch, half-inch wide strips of paper the color green. No, seriously. Paint it green, hang it over here. Paint it green. It was to illustrate leaves for the interior of Splash Mountain, Tokyo, which we worked on together. So there she was painting this strips of paper green. That was her job. Can you imagine being an amazing painter, and that's what you're doing? So when I was in the sculpture studio and I was making Godzilla, I told them I was too busy to paint Godzilla. I just couldn't do it. And so I asked her to do it. And this is not her paint job. This is my friend. My friend painted this for me. And but the actual Godzilla that was used in the model shop was painted by this amazing woman. And once they kept saying, Terri, you paint. And I was like, no, I can't, which I could. I was lying. Okay, I'm going to full disclosure right here. Disney, guess what? I was lying because I wanted them to meet her. And what happened is after she painted this Godzilla and everybody admired the paint job on the Godzilla, she ended up working on Animal Kingdom, designing and creating the concept art for what is now Animal Kingdom. So what do you learn here? Artists helping artists. Yeah. You know, this is what I feel an Imagineer does. Maybe not all of them, but this was my mindset. Okay. Understand that I worked with people like Herbie Ryman, and I worked with John Hinch, and I've worked with a lot of the super greats that work with Walt. They were my mentors. And that's what they did, is they collaborated. They worked together. Bob Gurr, all of them, they worked together. Walt would walk in. Bob Gurr, I'm sure you've heard the story. If you haven't, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. But basically, Walt walked in and said, I want this. I know you guys can do it. And he would leave. Like, hi, Bob, would really love a monorail. You know, something that rides across the sky. I know you can do it. Bye. And Bob would be like, how do I even start that? You know, because he didn't want to disappoint Walt. And many will tell you that. Many of them will tell you that. All of these Disney legends will tell you that that's what Walt would do. He would come in and give you a challenge, and he wouldn't even tell you any ideas he had, because I guess he really didn't have any ideas of how it was done. He just visualized it. This could be done. So these mentors were the ones that said, you know, we collaborated, we worked together. You know, Herbie, he'd say, I'd want a castle, and I want the castle to be something like I've never seen before. And Herbie would go, oh, great. But, you know, they did it. They did it. They absolutely did it. And that's what's cool, is that they made it happen. And wow. So that's what being an Imagineer is. The model shop all worked together. Maybe you had a couple of egos in there, but, you know, that's kind of, you know, par for the course. And it was great. You know, people like Len Cicero and Kevin Rafferty, who I told the story of Kevin Rafferty being an absolute rock star because he actually got people's names put into Imagineering the Building of a Dream. He's the one who got our names in there. Before that, Disney never put names in the books. And because of Kevin Rafferty, seriously, because of Kevin Rafferty, their names were in there. My name was spelled wrong, but that's not his fault. But I'm very, very grateful for that book because, and to Kevin, I remember Kevin called me and said, you got to look at this book. You're going to be very proud. You're going to be very happy because I got something through that I didn't know I could, was hoping I could, but didn't want to tell you about it. So that's the thing that's really super, you know, about being an Imagineer. So model shop. Yes, we did this. I helped Don Carson's beautiful wife to move on to what she should have been doing, which was concept art for the not yet envisioned Animal Kingdom, and she helped them to visualize it, and she was the perfect person for the job. So we took each other's hands and said, let's get you this, if I can do it. And I wasn't sure I could. I didn't know if painting this would be enough to get her out of painting strips of paper, but I hoped it would. And as it turned out, it did. So the person who asked that question, thank you very much, because wow. Visit the model shop, working in the model shop was definitely a super plus. I better put this someplace where I don't lose it, or I'm going to be very sad. Anyway, that's a model shop thing. I did several things for the model shop. This Godzilla was one of them. And then the Maple Guys, which is another story. Anyway, ooh, wrong camera. This is the camera I wanted. You got to see the questions. I'm sorry about that. I'm messing her up. Anyway, let me put him back on his little stand over here on my desk. And back to you. Oh, I know. I'm silly. You got to see my questions on my table, which is usually where I show you stuff that I'm sculpting. But yes, indeedy. Yes, indeed. So thank you for that. And Harriet Burns, yes. And there was a story about her. So I think I've covered that one. How are we looking? Okay. As you know, due to, I'm going to open the door to reality just a crack. It's still out there. Because of the pandemic, I go long on these. So feel free to do the hokey pokey and put your right foot in, put your right foot up, put your left foot in, and you shake it all about. Feel free to do that on this video and then come and visit it later. And if you are looking at it later, please post in the comments and give me a shout out and say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And that's it. And then subscribe. If it's something that, for some strange and unusual reason, you're finding this entertaining and fun, please subscribe so you can know when the next one is, and hit that little bell. People say smash that little bell. Do you know why they say smash that subscribe button and smash that bell? Why do they say smash? That's a question I'm asking all of you. Why smash? It seems, I don't know, but they all say it, right? Even my YouTube teacher that I just signed up to learn to make a better YouTube channel, he says smash. And I'm just wondering why smash? I don't know. Anyway, that's my question. All right, here we go. Which of the early female Imagineers did you have the opportunity to meet and possibly learn from? Do you have any stories about these pioneers in the field of Imagineering? Yeah. Alice Davis. Whew. Yeah, Alice Davis. That's huge. Mark Davis, Alice Davis, huge. Being able to sit with her, and I learned so much from her. And then someone who's gone now, Peggy Van Pelt, who may not have been an early icon, but a magical woman. She dealt with all of us as artists at Imagineering when we would have a meltdown, or we would get irritated, or we would get upset, or we would have a challenge. We went and sat with Peggy, and she's gone now. And it's a heartbreaker that we lost her, because she really helped me to adapt to the Imagineering mindset, which isn't always easy for an artist who's come from the film industry. I actually was in the film industry. And when doing sculpting for film, a person will say, "We've got to hurry. We have a deadline." And you say, okay, when was the deadline? And it go, "It's past, so get going." That's movies. Disney is, oh my God, we have a deadline. Oh my goodness, you've got to hurry. And you say, okay, when's the deadline? 9 months from now. 9 months from now? So as a film person in a park atmosphere, so different. You had to figure out how you're sculpting for a place like Imagineering differed from sculpting for the film industry, where you are working nights and not eating. You're just going. You got to do it because they needed it a few weeks ago. In Imagineering, you have to pace yourself, because if you go too fast, a lot of show producers above you may have changes, and you spend a lot of time making changes. Many people in the film industry who come to be Imagineers, extremely talented, but don't necessarily like that pace, you know? And so they'll be there for a while and then they'll go, no, this isn't for me. And it surprises Disney when they say that, you know, because Disney's not used to you saying no. I mean, can you imagine? I think all of you out there will be saying, well, I would never say no. Yes, I'm in. That's what I want to do. Exactly. But there are some that say, okay. And that's someone who's really, I'm going to tell you, that's someone, when you say that, don't be upset with yourself. Why would I do that? Because sometimes certain things, and I'm not saying Disney, but certain things will be asked. So back to Cecily, who is a big, I'm super fan of hers. But so she's told early in her young life that she looks like a model and she should be on TV and film. Okay. So she does a small little role on a series, and she's doing really well, but they start to offer her roles that she won't do because she doesn't want to be in a role that she feels degrades Black women. And I mean, you're starting out. So for someone to take that stand, that's a very strong stand, because many would say, well, how could you work if you don't take some of those roles? And maybe you rationalize, and for you or for other people that spoke with her, told her that they thought that was fine, but she wouldn't do it. So she would not play hookers. She would not play maids. She would not play servants. She really felt that that was a little degrading to Black women. And so she held her own. And the next thing you know, she said, well, she didn't say, but the people that were talking about her said that what she ended up doing was a lot of theater. Nothing wrong with theater, man. Theater, you earn strong chops in theater. You're doing this thing over and over again. You got to have the stamina and the perseverance. You have to have the strength. You got to make sure your body's in a good, because you're playing these characters over and over and over again on stage, and you got to bring it, don't you? Those of you who do stage, we all know that you got to bring it, and you bring it every time. You don't phone it in ever. You know, you're right there with the audience. So you bring everything you got. And that's what she did. But then they saw her and she got Sounder. And Sounder is one of my favorite movies. And she's just incredible in it. She's so good. She's so good. And Fried Green Tomatoes is another one. I love that movie. And she's just brilliant in it. So it's nice to know that you keep the ability to look in the mirror. Okay. You want to keep that ability. You don't want to sell yourself short just because of big money or what might be a big opportunity or something. If it's selling your beliefs and ethics short, you don't want to do that. No, I know. I think it's raining. Sorry, squirrel. But yeah, it's raining. Wow. Okay. Anyway, that you don't want to do that. And so that's one of the reasons that if I was asked to do a smoking commercial or a liquor commercial, which nowadays they can't do, they have to do print when it comes to alcohol. You cannot drink on camera unless you're in a soap opera or something like that. And so, yeah. But I admired her. She kind of paved the way for me as a young girl to figure out, what I was going to do. So there we go. We have some holdovers. What time is it? 10:47. You've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. Wow. Oh, bless your hearts. You guys are just amazing. I just, wowie. Anyway, Rolly Crump and his chess set. Yes, this is an ongoing, never-ending story. Never-ending story. Anyway, yeah. The chess set is happening this year. Rolly knows in his heart my concerns, but I think we're going to ignore them. And yeah, I think we're going to ignore them and just do it. Just do this chess set. Just make it happen. I think it's going to be 5-inch tall figures. I think I'm going to do a cloth-based weightable chessboard and then maybe offer a sculpted chessboard later if you want to. But danger, danger, danger. It's going to be expensive. There, you know how many pieces are in a chess set. So I don't need to tell you. What are there, 22 total pieces? So at least I don't have to do 22 individual figures, pawns, or times 6 or 8 or whatever it is. I'm a really amazing sculptor, but I'm only average with chess, and I don't really think about numbers a lot. But many of you, like Leo, has pointed out how many there are. Leo Holzer, he was telling me the other day. But I only have to do half that because I'm going to make some in the light color and then some in the dark color. And it may be when I talk to Rolly that he doesn't want to go the classic white and black. I haven't discussed that with him, but he may want that. But he may go maybe like a stone gray and maybe a black granite or something, or maybe he might want to play with the color a little bit because it is his vision. And when you are a sculptor and you're creating somebody else's vision, you want to be the hands through which they sculpt. And that's what I'll be doing for Rolly, is creating something that is his vision. And we're going to get started on that soon. I have a couple other things I'm doing, like want to make sure the ghosts are well on the ghost wheel, if you will, is turning well before I jump into another sculpture, because I don't want to take my eye off the prize, because I want to make sure you guys get what you ordered. Okay. Ghosts are pre-ordered. So the people who have bought them so far have already paid for them, and they deserve to have them. Right. So if those ghosts are, you've not paid $1.98 for them. So I want to make sure you get them soon. So wave 1 is coming out. Like I said, I'm mailing them on Saturday, and they only come 5 at a time. So for a limited edition of 50 of the illuminated ghosts, they're not going to be fully delivered until October, something like that. So we're already having people, when we do the pre-sale, some people say, I don't care when it happens. Other people say, can I have them sent in March, April, May? Other people can say, I'm good to be at the end. They're all very open. And you all are very sweet who have pre-ordered those ghosts. And then those of you like the blacklight ghosts, if you want to order those, hit me up, and I am happy to tell you how much they are. And their delivery is happening in late February, March, and April. But you do have to prepay for them. So that's the story on those. But back to Rolly. After that, once that wheel is moving smoothly, that machine is chugging along, and I've got all my, so for example, in the box that I've designed for the illuminating ghosts, I have to make sure that the whole presentation works and that they are nice and snug in their box, because I'm shipping a lot of them. I'm shipping them priority mail, so it costs you about $14, so you get them in 2 days. But this is something that's essential when you've invested in something. I want to tell you, you don't want them to be bouncing around in the mail for weeks and weeks. So I'm putting them in the mail priority, and that's non-negotiable. That's happening. Okay. And if you're in California, you're going to pay sales tax. So it's just the things of life, right? Most of the time before COVID-19, I used to just be there and say, here you go. We'll be in the show or the sale. I have stacks of them ready. And what number, hello, what number are you? And you would pick them up from me live and in person. But right now, I don't really see that happening. So that's the challenge. Some people are picking them up, but they're doing it in a different way because of COVID-19. But most are having them shipped. So that's just a new and a new challenge for everything that's happening. We're more online than we were face to face, right? It's too bad because I like to be face to face with you guys. So no, I don't have any pieces to show. We're still in the drawing stage. We're still discussing because I kind of felt like it would really be better if they were 3 inches tall, but nah, he's not. He's not buying it. So we'll stay 5 inches. They'll be 5 inches tall. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Have you completed a diamond art project to show us? Nope. I haven't even started. And honestly, I might do Lego before I do diamond art. They're fascinating, but my free time where I'm doing something that doesn't advance something like the chess set and my own personal art gets pushed by the wayside. So the time you're going to see a diamond art project, I don't know that you'll see it anytime soon, simply because I have to dedicate a day. I have to dedicate time to that. And I'm not so sure that I want to dedicate time to that. That's somebody else's design art that looks a lot of fun to do. But yeah, I want to do a lot more of my own stuff. And I also have some amazing paint that my husband gave me, and I really want to play with it. But I have some obligations before I break out the fun stuff and do something for myself. And that's the reality. There's only so many hours in a day, and I've got a lot going on, and I like it. Okay. Let me be clear. Oh gosh, I hate when people say that. I'm sorry. Let me clarify. Don't you think people use "let me be clear" just a bit too much? Anyway, let me clarify. I love doing the sculpture that I'm doing. I love doing the Disney sculptures. I love doing my own sculptures. I love doing right now I have a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea organ I should be getting done for my husband. It's 15 inch and tall and it's amazing, but I should finish it. So I wouldn't mind doing that. There's also the chess set, which I'd like to get going. I'm going to write a book this year about my Star Wars experience. I am going to write this book. And there was a woman who's an astrologer, and she said, for Gemini, that's what I am, that I should definitely write a book. So I'm like, ooh, sign. There's a sign. Do I actually follow that stuff? No. But when I heard that, I was like, oh man, I was going to write a book. And now she says, write a book. Woo! Well, there's endorsement. Anyway, I want to do that. I've got several things in the works with collaborating with other artists that I love. Basically, there's a plethora of things that I love to do, and I just don't have enough hands to do it. I keep praying I have a prehensile tail so I could move things faster, but it's just not happening yet. I keep looking back, and it's not there. So yeah. And then I talk to you guys. I want to make sure that I'm here every Monday and every Friday, and that takes time. And I thought that I might be able to sculpt or draw while speaking with you, but the problem is that it distracts me so much. I know you're going to find this hard to believe. I know you are. But I don't really talk a lot while I'm working. And that is one of the things I've had to change if I'm going to teach you on video. So I'm also working on that. I'm working on a video tutorials. I want to do that. There's a ton of things that I have to do, and I wish I had more time. Yeah, which is one of the reasons I don't watch TV a lot, because there's so much that I want to create and share and help you guys move forward. So it's, I'm sure we all have that, don't we? I mean, those of you who are comfortable enough to binge watch for month on end and be bored, boy, what a luxury I do not have. Okay. I don't have the luxury of being bored. There is no bored in my life. There is being a little overwhelmed because I don't have enough arms and legs to do with what I want to do. But bored, yeah, no. That's something that just doesn't happen in my household. We don't get bored. I used to say to people, if they are bored, send me your hours so I can have a 35-hour day, please, because I really want it. This is also why artists don't want to poop, pee, eat, or sleep, because there is things we've got to do. So my goodness, if I eat, it takes from that. If I go to the bathroom, which you need to do, I'm not saying don't, but you go, ah! Do you ever see the movie Trumbo, about the man who's this amazing writer who gets blacklisted during the McCarthy era, which was in the 40s and 50s and blah, blah, blah. You got to watch it. It's great. It's got Cranston in it and the guy from Breaking Bad, and he's brilliant in it. But he does everything from the bathtub. It's really freaky. He really did. This is a real person that's portrayed by Cranston, right? But oh my goodness, he works in a bathtub. It is mind-boggling when you see that. You start to ask questions you don't really want to ask. But wow. I mean, when you see it, you're just going to be blown away. It's wild. Everything from the bathtub. So, wow. It's quite a movie called Trumbo. So if you get a chance to see it, I love, love, love it. I read the book, love the book. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic about an amazing writer who was blacklisted. And then later, well, I won't spoil it for you because maybe you don't know the story. If you do know the story, you're going to love seeing it again. And if you don't know the story, you're going to love the discovery. So I won't spoil it for you because I hate spoilers. But yeah, so that's what I mean. Okay, here's a man who took care of I don't even know, because he and you rarely in the movie. I mean, you do see him eating, but it's rare. So it's a very, very interesting film, and it's one of my favorite. Okay, so what else do we have? Can you show us your lunchbox, and have you ever sculpted wireframe stop motion animation puppets for Henry Selick or other directors? No. So I'm not going to show the lunchbox because I'm working on something. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll see it maybe in a different way at a different time. So stay tuned. But what else can I tell you? Sculpted wireframe. Stop motion animation characters are done by mechanics. And those mechanics create armatures. And those armatures are then sculpted over or created over in some way that the characters created. So like Jack Skellington, I don't know if you guys have seen behind the scenes of Jack, but Jack was a very unusual built stop motion structure. His skeleton, when he was sculpted, his pants and his arms, his long arms, were sculpted very, very, very close to the thin rods and mechanisms in there because he was very thin. Same with Sally. Her ankles were so small and the rest of her was big that they had to be careful on how, they had to make sure she balanced well and she moved well. And what I can show you is one of these, okay? So what happy thing can you look at? Oh, I'll let you look at this. And then I'll tell you about the dinosaur show that's coming up. I'll tell you about that, but you can look at this right now. Look at this. This is me and baby Sinclair. Yeah, that's better. Take a look at that while I go over here and see if I can find an armature for you guys to look at. I guess maybe I should have played some music, huh? While I went and you heard me shuffling and scuffling. But okay. So here are, I'm going to show you the man first. Okay, so this is a stop motion armature. I don't know how many of you have seen this. This one is a really nice one built by a friend of mine. And it even has here the ability to put wire for fingers if you want it. But the idea is to be able to tighten and loosen here when you want to pose this character. And you would wrap this figure to protect the joints, right? And then you would sculpt over him, and then it would be molded and done in a flexible material. And then that would be your character. And the thing that's really nice about this guy is he stands really well, which I think is very nice. Usually the characters are bolted. Okay, so usually the character is bolted to the base to move and maneuver really well. Now, Jack Skellington is even thinner than these. These legs would be too thick for, say, like a Jack Skellington character. So each one is designed differently for the character that you're doing. So the first thing you would do is make the sketch of the character, and then you would create the armature. The mechanic or someone who built this, like my friend, would create the armature to suit whatever character you're doing. But since I like to do people, I haven't done them in a while, but since I like to do people, I just ordered this one from him, and it's absolutely beautiful, as you can tell. And you can see it's about, it's just about this big if I put it by my face, right? So he's really, really amazing. He's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. He's a very high-end one. This is one that maybe a Henry Selick would use because it's so well done. So this one is exquisitely done. I can't tell you how much it was because I bought them a long time ago, but this is the armature for stop motion animation. So not really wire. Okay. So I hesitate to use that terminology because not really wire. Now, this one is a little simpler. This is a Pegasus. So if I put him here for you to see and turn the light on, I'm going to lay him down so you can see. This is more like the Jack. Jack had this kind of, and then these are the wings for my Pegasus, see? And I would have to tighten where those wings go. And it looks like he may have just soldered right there, and the solder may have broken, which means I'm going to have to repair him before I use the wings, because it looks like there was kind of a cheap hot solder there on this one. And that's what I mean when you buy something that's less made. But if I put it here and I just kind of hold it, you can see that there's the wings, and they do that. And then you put the wing here, and then you'd come here however you want. But this thin rod that you're looking at here is about the width of the leg of Jack, and then they put the sculpted clay over it, made the mold, and then did Jack. Jack was very, very close to his original armature. So if we remove this, this kind of looks like a dog, but you can see the difference is the thinner leg things on him. So these, and again, there are all these little tightening points so that, and then on the bottom, if I show you here, I don't know if you could see that, but right here, right there, that's where you would bolt this to your place so that he would stand properly. He stands pretty good, but if you wanted him to, like, for example, rear up, you would then manipulate him so he could do that. And in order for him to stay, these are bolted to the base. Or ruff, ruff, ruff. So there you go. There you go. That's what is talked about when they do it. And then it's frame by frame animated. Do I want to do that? Yeah. Oh, yes. Right now I'm doing objects. Like I would build a Lego thing and then I'd move it. I'd use a bottle or a cup and move it. And if you look at my YouTube channel, if you're on YouTube, you'll see that I did this with teacups. This is a great way to start your stop motion, is to take objects you have around the house and then animate them. You know, you don't have to get this involved, but you animate them so that, and then you play the animation. And like I said, nowadays, you just get an app that is called Animate, I think is the app. And then it lets you animate something. So basically, you could take something like this adorable marshmallow man that was given to me as a gift. Okay. And if he is on the table, if we go here and here he is on the table, right? And you anchored him down, you could make him walk by taking individual clicks, shutters, click, 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 and then he would move. So he would stand here, you would click, 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 or more clicking. You know, if you wanted it to be longer, you could always extend it in an editing program like Premiere or Final Cut. But then you would move them a little bit this way, click, 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 done. And then what happens is when you run it on your animation thing, he does this, walks up, looks around, turns, So objects are a great way to get the feel of fast and slow in stop motion animation. And that's what I love doing right now. I take safety pins and build something, not safety pins, paper clips. You can do origami and shoot the various things. And then when you run it, it builds itself. Lego, you can do the same. It's all of that. It's all of that. So it's really cool. And you don't have to get into these armatures until later. So you can learn by using these objects, how many frames, this is what I'm trying to say, but maybe not saying it as well as I could. How many frames involve fast? Like, whoosh, how many frames does it take to make a character look like they're going whoosh, 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 like the little boy in Dash, like Dash in The Incredibles. Okay, Dash is whoosh, 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 whoosh. So as an animator, how does that work? If you have an animator and you can ask him and he'll tell you, okay. But until you actually try to do it yourself, thank you, that is where it really comes in play. Because now you're understanding what they're trying to explain to you, right? Because you're doing it and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to be successful. But honestly, that's what's fun. The thing also I like about using objects is that you can do it over and over and over again. So for me, it sinks in, right? Pardon me. Let me adjust my hair because it's all tangled in my hood. There we go. Hey, just give me a minute. Sorry to do this, but it was really kind of bugging me. La, 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 la. Okay, there we go. All righty, there we go. I'll tell you, when it bugs you, it bugs you. No, it doesn't really bug me that much, but it was just really being a little crazy. There we go. Okay, great. All right, great. Okay. Anyway, back to the inanimate objects. When you move them around, it helps you to just take off if you've ever watched King Kong and they have the Kong one, you're going to move this up and then maybe this leg's kicking out and then the head is moving. That's a lot of stuff to remember if you're just starting out. And you can also work with this without having a sculpture on it to get the free movement that you might want to get in animation. And once you do, you can create the sculpted character over it. So I highly recommend it. I'm not that advanced, but I love it and I want to do more. So basically getting right down to the question is I want to do more. And that's the thing. So I don't worry, Lunchbox is in the mix of something else I want to do. So you will see it at some point. I have not done anything for Henry Selick in the form of stop motion animation, but he was my director on Monkey Bone. And one of the things I loved about Henry was he was willing to have me come up to San Francisco and see how it worked. how does a huge production of something like Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach works? That I was curious. And I think Henry liked that I was curious. And the other thing was that I wanted to see a stop motion artist in action, and many of them work alone. And many of them don't want an observer. They were very, very direct about that when I was up there. I said, is there any chance I can see it? And most of them said, oh, heck no, you're not coming in. You are not coming in while I'm working. Forget it. I now have a feather. But anyway, I saw these feathers. Look at them. Hi, how you doing? The dreadlocks are out tonight. Okay. All right. There we go. They'll behave now, hopefully. But so the stop motion animators were like, can I come and watch you? Slam. No. No, slam. No, slam. And the interesting thing about something like Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach is there's several sections being worked on in the movie because the sets are built and they lock the characters down, and each one is doing a different sequence. If you go back and look at the behind the scenes of, say, a Nightmare Before Christmas, there was one guy doing, working on Oogie Boogie, and he said it took his whole body to move this thing because he was about 24 inches tall. That's a big puppet. That's a big puppet. And that's a big studio. So many of them like to work alone and concentrate on their own. They really don't want an observer. But enter an amazing guy named Webster Concord. And if you get a chance to see Webster, he's amazing. So talented. And at the time, he was just starting out when I got to see him. And he was more than happy to have me sit in a corner and do his animation. He animated the Roadkill. And I believe it was James and the Giant Peach. And it was just so cool. Oh, no. Roadkill and Monkey Bone. Sorry, Webster. But in Monkey Bone, we had Roadkill that kind of acted and talked in Coma Town. And Webster did those sequences. And now he's just a genius. Just Google him, guys, and check out. He's also friends with me on Facebook. So if you want to just look for him. But he's brilliant. He's just so good. And he was just young and starting out. He was a really young, almost a baby. Now he's got kids of his own. And it's just really good to see somebody like that just blossom because you knew he was going to. And his generosity with me has never been forgotten. So, so that's pretty exciting to see that. But yes, I did visit a stop motion studio in action, but many of them don't really want you to be there standing around watching them. They don't like it. They want to be there working, and they're very, very private. And so one of the things that's great is some of them will share on YouTube. They'll do videos and they'll share on YouTube. So you can now see it on YouTube, but that's because they have control as to when they're going to show you what they're going to show you. And your questions are then they're open to it because you're posting them in the comments and stuff, So they're very, they like to be sequestered. They like to be isolated. They like to be left alone. They were so sweet. They all had lunch with me afterwards, but they just said, we just don't want you to watch us work. We just don't like it. So, and it was nice of them to be so open with me and not tolerate me, and go that I'm there because they wanted to impress Henry. Well, Henry is an animator himself, and he understood that. So he made it very, he put it to them that they don't have to because he's asking. That he needs somebody who can still work and have me do it. And if not, I was not going to push the situation either. But luckily, Webster said, I'll do it. And I just love him for it. I want to thank him for that. I always thank him for that because he just was so sweet. What fascinates me about the craft is how they lip sync, how they get dialogue. And Webster tried to show me, and it was so over my head. I was like, whoa. So I'm just going to practice it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to use this. Now we have an app. I mean, we're so lucky. We have an app you can download to put on your phone or your iPad and just practice until you get it. So I'm looking forward to that journey of creating that animated speaking thing. Will I draw it? Will I sculpt it? Don't know yet, but that's in my future. And I'm so excited. But it fascinates me how they can, what's happening to me, is just amazing. It's, what's this? So it's wonderful to see these characters come to life like that and just be so blown away by the emotion that they create with these puppet characters. Just one of my favorite things ever, ever, ever. King Kong being the first, and me just loving watching King Kong. I still love King Kong today. And learning the behind the scenes of how difficult it really was. And then sitting and speaking with Ray Harryhausen, who said, y'all don't have it hard. I had it hard, kind of like the speech of walking in the snow uphill both ways kind of thing. But he was right. It was very hard. It was very hard. There was another animator that I knew very well, and I haven't seen him in a while, and that's Michael Jitlove, who did The Wizard of Speed and Time, where he kind of used his own body to do kind of this crazy and wild stop motiony stuff. And then later he did a really cool Disney Channel Mickey Mouse, where it was a satellite, and then it turned, and then it went boop, 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 and the ears popped up, and it was Mickey. And it was all stop motion. It was brilliant. It was just beautiful. And I went to see him, and he just showed me the set. He didn't show me working because he had to concentrate. But they all said, the phone rings, you're hosed. You don't know what you shot. You don't know where you were. You try to remember. You try to, But now that the app Animate has onion skin, which means you can kind of overlay where you were and where you've been. You've seen animators do this with their fingers, with paper. They go like this to see how the character moves. When they're doing the 2-dimensional animation, the 2D animation. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing in this app. It kind of creates that so you can run back and forth digitally. Really is lovely, and really opens it more to more young people and more people like me that just need a little help. So there you go. So there you are. And yeah, that's the thing. Lip sync. Wow. It's amazing. Can you tell us what you thought about Miyazaki-san's Lupin? Love it. And the Castle of Cagliostro? Love it. Totoro seems to be his best known work in the US. That's true. And what are American audiences missing by not checking out Miyazaki's other films? How did you discover manga, graphic novels? What a great question. Okay, so I met Miyazaki when I was a child. Well, not a child, but I was young. He was young. Yeah. So you may know that there is this amazing father of anime named Dr. Osamu Tezuka. And I was fortunate enough, thank you, Philo Barnhart, shout out to an amazing animator, one of the designers of The Little Mermaid. He surprised me one day and took me to an animator's meeting. And Dr. Tezuka, Osamu Tezuka, was the guest. I will never forget it. It was a absolutely magical time for me to meet this man who created Astro Boy. So the father of anime is Osamu Tezuka. Miyazaki learned from Tezuka. Everybody learned from Tezuka. I mean, it's not like, oh, Miyazaki's not all that. He learned from Tezuka. No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Tezuka was the one who really broke it and opened it up, and many beautiful, amazing artists like Miyazaki followed. And Miyazaki came to the US for a San Diego Comic-Con before it was the cluster, that we know it today, where it's just ants on a farm, and why go? In my opinion, I admire you if you go, because that's too much crowd for me. But at the time, there weren't a lot of people there. And it was very intimate, and it was really about comic books, and it was really cool. And Tezuka, Dr. Tezuka was doing sketches, and a lot of artists you may see in Totoro that Japanese kind of depict people who are American with large mouths and big eyes, and they yell all the time. It's pretty funny. It's very interesting. But I found it humorous. And so so Dr. Tezuka had talked about, this kind of situation, and there were people out there going, gimme, 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 as he was sketching. And it was really annoying him because, the Japanese, they just don't like that kind of behavior. At least at the time he didn't. And so I had done some drawings after seeing him at this special event. I had done some drawings and we ended up trading. So I have a drawing of Dr. Tezuka's that is in my home, and it is willed to the Tezuka Museum in Japan. It will go there. And I was beside myself. He signed it for me. He was very happy to give it to me. And then later he took me and introduced me to my first sushi meal with Miyazaki, who was a young artist who just was sitting and sketching and not really, we didn't know who each other were. But later he debuted My Neighbor Totoro in New York. And my friend and I, my very, very talented best friend, and I created the Totoro suit. And because they wanted to have a big, giant Totoro walk around to meet the children, and my friend and I built that. So that was really cool. And I love full circles. And that's another full circle. Another one is my George Lucas, where George Lucas inspires me with Star Wars. And then later I do Captain EO, and ba-bam! I get to tell George Lucas that I love him and he's amazing, and wow, right? So that's that. So I love anything that Miyazaki does. I'm afraid that I'm just a Miyazaki squid, meaning that he does no wrong for me. I don't think there's a film I don't like. The only thing I don't like about Miyazaki films is the English overdubbing. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how big of an actor you are. I want to watch it in the Japanese and read it because I love to feel what Miyazaki was trying to portray. And I think it's lost in the English translations. I'd love to do a million. That being said, being two-faced, I'd love to be a voiceover artist on a Miyazaki film. But honestly, I can't watch the English versions. I don't like them. In one of them, they actually changed the characterizations. They changed the gender of the animal, and it just drives me crazy. I hate it. I just hate it. So I'm there goes that purist behavior again. So with Miyazaki films, I always listen to the Japanese actors and read the Japanese because that's the way Miyazaki intended it, and that's the way I want to see it. I want to see it the way the artist intended. And so I read. Yeah, I will. I've tried. Lord knows. I've tried to listen to the English versions, and I just can't. They don't seem to have the same heart. So I can't do it. Yeah. But before I go, all 65 of Dinosaurs dropped today. And hey guys, announcement. I should have probably announced this at the top, but I will put it on my what's the girl trying to say? I will put it on my Twitter page, and I'll also put it on my Instagram page. I will put this, what I'm about to show you, there so you can get to it easier. Of course, if you left early and you're not listening to it again, we may miss out, but I'm going to do that. So let me just get to my photo library. Let me get to here. There it is. Yay. And let me show you. There it is. This Sunday, in celebration of all the dinosaur shows falling down into Disney Plus, something I never thought was going to happen. And I'm so delighted it is, because the show, not because I worked on it, was stupendous. It is a stupendous show. It is amazing. That I want to show it to you. It's the Beretta Brothers. Let me see. I'm noticing down here. Oh no, I thought maybe I could do something with that, but I don't want to mess with it. So I can't get that out of there, but I will tell you that it is the Beretta Brothers, BARRETTA.com. And they're also on YouTube at 2:00 and 5:00, 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern. This Sunday, we're doing all the background characters. We're doing all the background dinosaurs, the salt and pepper characters, if you will. And I'm in the second group, but watch the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. And I know you guys are really, really, really going to enjoy it. So I'm excited about this. I was on talking about Baby Sinclair 2 weeks ago, and you can go to the Beretta Brothers YouTube channel and actually check it out. Okay. So let me post, let me pop in there for you and show you how it's, well, and I did this wrong too. I actually put a space between the and Beretta Brothers, but you'll get the idea. Just don't put a space there. Okay. Close that space up. TheBerettaBrothers.com. It's all mushed together. Okay. But like I said, I will put what you just saw, that dinosaurs ad. I'm going to put it on my, I'm going to put it on my, I'm going to put it on my Instagram and on my Twitter. And that way you have it. Maybe I'll also do it on Facebook so you don't have to go through this whole live thing to try and find it. But that's so super exciting, right? And now I've gone 2 hours actually. And so this last, it could take longer. This last portion, I'm going to go and look at your comments. So this is where I say to you, if you've got life, you're getting hungry, you want lunch, or you have something you got to do, I totally and fully understand. And I look forward to more questions in the comments. He will, I got through most of them today. There's like there's like 2 left or something. So that's good. We did good today. We did, yay for us, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go over to comments in case you had more questions. If you want to hang with me, fine. And if you need to go have a life, that's fine too. Okay, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being who you are. I love you all. You guys are great. Okay, so let's go into the comments. Angie's in the house. She's early. You're worth the wait, Terri. Thank you, Angie. I was actually a couple of minutes late today, so let's be honest, right? Good morning, Tamara. And again, Tamara, I looked at some of your art in your crocheting. It's beautiful. Hello, Bob. Thank you for joining us. Happy Friday, Bonnie. Great to see you. Welcome to Terri's Tribe. I'm so happy you joined. Catherine Perry, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dr. D is in the house. And the theme park gals. It's Dinosaurs Days. It is. I actually am going to have lunch and watch one of the episodes. I'm so excited. I'm really, really beside myself. I don't know why I can't believe it, but you do a show and then you're not sure where it's going to end up when it's done. And we did that in the 90s. So I hope you watch it. Revisit it, share it with your kids. It is a great show. It is still a great show. It was way before its time. So I'm glad it's here at its time. Good morning, James. Tim Gillette is in the house. Hello, Tim. Yay. Yeah, I'm stoked about the world it's going to bring. And one of the reasons is because I have a great tool set. And Tim is one of my mentors that just has helped me. If you saw my first videos, you saw them maybe like this. Tim taught me how to turn them and make them horizontal. And he also helped me to understand this venue, which we call StreamYard. So very helpful. And I thank him every day by doing this over and over and over again. I'm going to get this better and better. And it's nice to have him in my corner. Yeah, it's always nice to have someone helping you along. Morning, Terri. Happy to see Dinosaurs back streaming, says Adam. Literally was thinking of you the entire time baby was on screen. Hugs. Well, thank you, Adam. How nice of you to say that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited about this happening. Yeah. I have them on DVD, and I think many of you guys probably do too. If you don't, grab them before things like that disappear, so you can watch them when you want to. But wow, I'm you know what I'm hoping now? I mean, like, give them an inch, they take a mile. I'd like to see Captain EO on there. So that's what I'd like to see. Oh, thank you, Adam. Yeah, they're wild, aren't they? Aren't those pictures cool? I just love those pictures. Yeah, he does. He's a great character. And many people ask me if I was going to sell them individual, and I just won't. I want him to be in a set. I do have some art proofs that I might be selling, but those are all of my mistakes. Well, the journey to the illuminating ghosts and to the blacklight ghosts. There are all kinds of screw ups along the way. Would you like to see those? AMA. Okay. Just shout out to Leo and I will show you those. Yes, the skeleton ghost, Ezra. I knew who you meant, Adam. By the way, says Adam, and I know this has probably been asked many times, was there any discussion of baby Sinclair having actual a first name? No, not really. I'm the baby, gotta love me. That was Kevin. And when he did it, I think it stuck, wise up, all those kind of things were just super cool. And not the mama, which was the bane of every adult because all their kids started to do that. In fact, Michael Jacobs said he had a little grandson and not the mama, not the mama, not. Anyway. Sometimes yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh, hi, Cherie. Hi. First time I've been able to catch you. So good to see you. So good to see you too. And I do this, guys, so you come in from the cold and have stories to tell, because sometimes reality's been a bit much, hasn't it? At least all of 2020, and 2021 has got its own set of challenges, but every year has a challenge. We're lucky that there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? Yeah. Joel, hello, Joel. Good to see you. Sorry, the Joel is another amazing artist, and he actually called me yesterday, and not yesterday, day before yesterday, and I was on the Zoom call with my patrons. So sorry about that, but we were visiting. We always visit on Zoom on Wednesdays, and Bonnie just joined us, and I hope Bonnie will come on to join us on the Zoom when she gets a minute, because it's a lot of fun. Did you really? Oh my goodness. Adam, welcome. I've got to get you on the other. I'm assuming you're saying my patron. But I've got to get you in the Zoom calls, because the Zoom calls are amazing. And then you got to do a spotlight, Adam. And oh boy, I'm overwhelming you because I'm so excited. But anyway, thank you and welcome. I'm so excited. I would love to go gray, but my family goes darker. Yes. Well, here's something that I've always said. You should be happy with who you are, not covet what you don't have. And there I was coveting being gray. I see these women like Dr. Ferrer. I don't know if you are in California, but that woman has a beautiful, beautiful gray hair that just, I look at it and go, wow, that's awesome. And I remember being in the back in the day before COVID, I was in the hairdresser's chair, and there was a girl next to me. She was Asian. The reason I say she was Asian is because she had actually had the hairdresser create for her. She must have been about 20. So a 20-year-old, beautiful Asian lady. So that stick straight, beautiful hair. She had it gray. She asked them to make it gray. Okay. But when she moved, it shimmered like silver. It was wow. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it. I don't know what was in her mind, but I thought the hairdresser was a rock star. She looked like, she just looked so good, like a superhero. Just beautiful hair. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it. So that's too bad. So we covet what we can't have, and then sometimes we don't like what we have. So I've tried to tell myself, be happy. And then the other day when I was auditioning, I did my self tape outdoors, and my gray hair shimmered. All the white picked up, and I was like, oh, it's so pretty. And look, I have character in my face. I'm just like a loop coaster, So Deanna, it's funny. It is funny. What a great moment to meet Cloris Leach. It was. And Lindsay and I both went, Frau Blucher. And I'm sure she had heard that like a dozen times, really. But she was sweet and gracious, and she smiled. Goodness gracious. You have a famous line and everybody says it to you. I hope you enjoy it, because they're going to say it to you a million times, but it's cool. Bonnie says she loves hearing about ghost stories. She grew up going on ghost tours during family vacations. I love reading ghost stories. I'm not so sure I want to read about angry ghosts. However, or evil ghosts, but poltergeist was very interesting, where you had scary ghosts that were wanting to have the life sources, pulling, you know, and then good spirits and those who interact with I don't know. I just think ghost stories are really cool too. So I'm with you on that, Bonnie. Thank you for answering my question. You're welcome. You can keep bugging me until I do. Right, Deanna? Our dear Dr. D. Nate says, late as always, hello, sweet Terry. Nate, you're amazing. And I have a few questions for you. Nate does some great stuff on his page. And there's a couple of things I'd like to do for this page that I'm actually going to talk to Nate about. So stay tuned, because he's my go-to guy when he does some things that I think are really clever and fun. And I want to just kind of touch base with him and find out, what they are. So, oops, I just knocked over my marshmallow man. But he's good to have you. Bella and Grandma. Yes, Grandma wasn't feeling well, right, Bella? Now, one of the questions today you heard earlier in the broadcast was, what would I do as soon as I could, the COVID was, the villain was defeated, and that is to go to Great Britain and see my friends. Bella is one of those people that I want to see. I really miss my little girl, my sweet and adorable cutie. And she just sent me a beautiful video of her trying to open this package that was impossible to open because I taped it up really tight. And she just stuck with it. She didn't give up. She didn't go for scissors. She didn't have her grandma go for scissors. It's one of the cutest little. And then she starts to thank me for the little gift that I sent her, and the dog barks. And she's at the point where she does a deadpan. It's wonderful. And if you're on Patreon, they put that on the Patreon page because it has to do with Patreon, and it's adorable. It's just adorable. So yeah. So thank you, Bella, for that. I really love it. I think you already have wings. Ooh, thank you, Angie. You're just so sweet to say that. Angie says, I live a few blocks from the Quaker building. A couple of times a month, the whole area smells of crunch berries. I blame them for my. Oh, I know what you mean, Angie. Oh my goodness. My house. I'm now, I bought a house in my area, and so did my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, a mile away. But his is further away from the Pepperidge. I think it's Pepperidge Farm. It might not be. It might be another one where they bake bread. Oh, Lord. And you'd run down the path and you'd be like, oh my God, I'm now hungry for bread, which is a vice of mine. I love baked goods and bread, full disclosure. So I'm with you. I love pomegranates too. My mom used to spoil me and peel them for me. Yeah. See, you may think that spoiled, Michael Roman, but I loved to pull away that thin membrane and discover a new world. It was like you're exploring this fruit and you're like, is there more? Oh, there's more. And you dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And then there's like 2 or 3 that thought you'd skip them, but you got them. What an amazing fruit. That was God on an amazing day when God was super creative, left alone to be creative, and made a pomegranate. I don't know. What a magical fruit. And then the tartness of it. I don't know. Some people aren't into it because it's too much work, but I think it is a puzzle fruit. And I love a puzzle fruit. Yeah, I love it. I love it because it's a puzzle fruit. So, it's a toy, a fruit. It's toy. It's fruit. It's toy. Hello, Maria. How are ya? Good to hear from you. Hi, Terry. Bob also remembers all those jingles from the commercials and the old shows. He amazes me. It's funny what we retain. Isn't it, Rose? Yeah. My husband can pull things out of the deep depths and tell me a story about a film that he watched once somewhere else. And I am like, wow. Wow. What is it you're talking about? And oh my goodness, So, yeah, that is a dazzling ability. Bonnie says, LOL, I like Raisin Bran. My favorite is Quickly. It's simply granola. Favorite sweet one, Lucky Charms for sure, or Fruity Pebbles. There you go. I used to like hot cereal. I love cream of wheat. I really do. But the other one was, what was it called? Grape Nuts, where people were like, it's like eating gravel. I don't know why I thought Grape Nuts was so cool. I don't know. Maybe because it just stays crunchy. It never got soggy. It just crunch, 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 crunch forever. But a lot of people said it was like, eating gravel. And I get that. I get that. I don't eat it much anymore because it's little granules and they stick in the gaps here for some reason. And I'm like, okay, that's a little more work than I want to do. But I do love the cereal. I have a cat that loves hard-boiled eggs. Oh my gosh. If he hears you crack when he comes running. Oh, Deanna, you ought to put that in a video. I'd love to see your cat eating egg. My dog loves eggs too. I think the weirdest thing, I had a white cat named Snowball. Yeah, I'm very creative with names. But anyway, Snowball loves strawberries. And I don't know if I told you about the time I brought my flat of strawberries. I used to drive out to a place around Middle California where I could buy a flat of strawberries for like $5. So I went out and bought these beautiful strawberries for about $5, about 6, 7 baskets. I brought them in. I set them on the table and went to get the mail when I lived in an apartment. And my cat, when I came back, there was a few strawberries missing and little pink paw prints coming off the table, from the table, down the chair, and walking down my kitchen. And then behind the doorway was my now pink cat. Just pink all the way down. Going, not me, Mom. Wasn't me. And it was. Sherry Langley, how are you, my love? How's your family? It's so good to hear from you. La Brea Bakery at downtown Disney has amazing Eggs Benedict when we are not in COVID. I know, it is delicious. Eggs Benedict is one of my husband's favorite foods. And La Brea Bakery is very good at it. We actually have a La Brea Bakery near us. And yeah, we don't eat out a lot, though. I have to tell you, we've eaten out more since COVID because we want to help restaurant people. We try to eat out once or twice a week, pick up and bring home because we want to support them. So, but usually I'm cooking all the time. It's just one of those things. It's more of a treat for us to go out. And my husband was saying, his birthday's coming up. He'd really love to go out and have a meal, but we don't want to go out and have a meal. So I'll probably figure something out where we can bring it. We also like an excursion. But the train trip last year was one of those that really scared us because when we got back, we had Wi-Fi. We didn't have it on the train, and found out that we had spent time in Seattle where COVID had this huge outbreak. So we were kind of like, okay, uh-oh. That was in its early stages. His birthday is February. So it was before people were acknowledging that COVID was even in LA. Time flies, right? So, okay. But anyway, that was pretty wild. A Cooking with Terri. I can do that. I actually have a video, I believe, that's on YouTube. You may have to dig for it, where I teach you how to brine a turkey. I think I posted it, where you brine a turkey in the crisper. Yeah. But I'm more than happy on the YouTube channel, Bonnie, not YouTube channel, on my Zoom channel on Wednesdays with my patrons. I actually made eggs and bacon with my husband, but I also showed how to do toad in the hole. I think my patrons who are on here could confirm that, but I was always, messing and doing something, originally. And then I came out here where there is no stove. So, but thank you, Bonnie. We'll see about doing something like that. AKA Body Wars. It was the Star Tour style. Exactly, Adam. Body Wars. You've got a great crack memory, Adam. Thank you. Yes, Body Wars. And it had to be taken down because too many people were getting sick because the color red meant danger, danger. So yeah. So I think George Lucas was involved in that. Are you aware of any input personally put into project? Not really, Joel. Not really. I just remember being in Imagineering and working on that ride. Also, the Tower of Terror, as you all know it. And I keep looking for this picture, and I don't know if I can find it. It may be in the garage. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's in the garage. But the thing is if should I come across it in the garage, I definitely will share it with you guys. Where foam core, the kind of construction paper with the foam in the middle. Well, the Imagineers used the 1/2 inch, and they built a full size ride vehicle. It didn't have the chairs inside. It was just the shape before Tower of Terror was actually a reality. And I stood in it, and my hair was such that you could mold it into any shape. It was not dreadlocks. You could comb it. So I can show you. I'll show you what it looked like because I have it here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you this picture right here. Okay, so see how my hair goes to the side? Here I am with baby, Sinclair, Kevin Clash, the voice and head, and John, the eyes and brows, me, baby's arms. But that hair could be combed straight up. So that's what they did at Imagineering. And then I threw my hands up in the air like this and looked like I was falling so that they could, for the powers that be, illustrate that this ride vehicle's intention was to drop. Because my hair could be like this, and then I just went, ah! And then they filmed it like I was falling. I told you, Imagineers collaborate. It doesn't necessarily mean on story ideas, but they knew that I'd be fine with it. And so, Joel, what a great opportunity to allow me to tell that story. Working with Kevin Clash, we got interviewed by TV Guide. In fact, I think I mentioned this on the show with the Beretta brothers. But we both got interviewed by TV Guide. I was like, wow, I never thought I'd be interviewed by TV Guide. And then TV Guide used to be a little magazine that you looked to know about TV channels. Okay, cool. And Kevin was on the cover. And then inside was a little story about the people who worked with him. And I said, it's a good thing that I go home. And my husband is understanding because I'm so close to Kevin 24/7 that I come home smelling like him. So I had this amazing cologne at Kevin. But I think one of the greatest moments that I had, and I think I talked about this too on the show, was that Kevin is a very strong puppeteer, physically strong. And I am too, pretty much, but he's really strong. The baby puppet is a large puppet. And if you look at him, you can see by his head how big that child really is. That baby weighs 70 pounds. So Kevin would put his arm in that character and lift it over his head like this, right? Like this. And then make him walk. So he's making the head work and he's making him walk. For the scene, there's a scene where baby gets angry because his cookies keep being stolen by a little critter. If you don't remember that, you'll see it when you watch the show. And baby decides to chase this little critter by blowing a hole in the wall and crawling in. The way we did that was over our head, and I would work these mechanical arms that crawl, and Kevin held the baby over his head while he walked and operated the head. So one of the things you may be interested in is, as you watch Dinosaurs, jot down your questions of how we did certain things, and I'll be happy to answer it, okay? That may be a really fun and cool segment of Ask Me Anything. So, check out Dinosaurs, and if you're curious about how we did stuff, I'm more than happy to share that with you, okay? Yay! Body words right. Exactly. Lucas involvement. I knew that's what you were saying. I never got to meet Lucas at that time. I didn't meet George Lucas until Captain EO with Michael Jackson. George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola. Whoa! Angelica Houston. Woo! Yeah, that's when I got to meet him. But if he was involved, I don't think I remember. I know he didn't. As far as we were, this group that we were with, he might have been in the distance. So I created this Disneyland map for the Walt Disney's 100th birthday in 2001. And there's a teeny tiny segment in that map that in that map that I'm trying to think if I can find it so I can give you another visual aid. But in that map, it was a puzzle map that I made. Many of you probably already know what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can find it in the albums, because the albums might a little few pictures than 50 billion. I don't know if it's in here, but if it is, I'll show you. And if it isn't, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so I did this puzzle map right here. This is for Walt's 100th birthday, I did this puzzle map. And it's all sculpted. It's sculpted in wax and then cast in a resin, and it's built on a children's wood puzzle. Holy cats, it almost put me in the hospital. Because if you're saying, holy cats, that has a lot of detail, holy cats, you are right. But what I'm trying to say to you, Adam, is that George Lucas could have been a man in the dark that advised without me ever knowing it. So if you look at this section right here of the skull, that's actually depicting Indiana Jones. And below that is the vehicle. I don't know if you guys can really see that. But that had to be sent to Lucasfilm to get approval for me to be able to sculpt it. That little piece. So let's, pan back to the size of the map. And you'll see how tiny it is. And George Lucas oversaw that, but I never really spoke with him or interacted with him is what I'm talking about. And smoking is bad. Yes. Oh, do you like Godzilla, Adam? Me too. Me too. I love Godzilla. I am a Godzilla nut. I love it. I love the first one especially. And Gojira. I love that one too. I love Godzilla. Yeah, Godzillas are great. The later ones, Toho's even saying, but I really love those first ones where it's a man in a rubber suit running around. I just love them. They are my go-to for a fun experience. She'll knock your tooth out. Yeah, my poor Godzilla, his tooth came out. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean it. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right, Adam. And it's my second favorite from the puppet of the very, very first Godzilla with Raymond Burr. I just, the Americanized version. And then, of course, Gojira that doesn't have Raymond Burr. But the point is that I want to make that puppet. That is something that's in my future, is to make that little puppet. Because I just want to have that little puppet. And then if other people want him, we can talk about it. But I really, really love that little puppet. Thank you, Deanna. She's always building it up. Yes, yes. Yay. Have you seen the trailer No, I haven't, Deanna. I have not seen that. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Sweet Godzilla. Yeah, thank you, Stuart. Cool, right? And I had been trying to go to Japan because I had Japanese comic books. So Dr. Tezuka, fell in love with Dr. Tezuka. Found out that Dr. Tezuka wrote a story called Dororo. And I love Dororo because of a character in Dororo named Hyakimaru. And I love samurai characters, but Hyakimaru was very special and a very amazing character. And so I absolutely flipped over him, and it's sketches of Hyakimaru that I actually drew for Dr. Tezuka when he gave me the picture of Olga from Phoenix 2772. If your eyes are crossing, which I really don't think yours will be, Stuart, I kind of have a feeling you might know what I'm talking about. I took Japanese for 3 years in order to read my comic books. I remember when the teacher asked, "Why are you taking Japanese?" Everybody stood up. I want to talk to my girlfriend. I want to go back to Japan. I was born in America and the language is nearly gone. All kinds of very good things. And I stood up and said, I have 200 Japanese comic books. I'd really like to see what they're saying. And she just laughed, So to this day, I have a few phrases I haven't forgot. One of my favorite is "Tamaga itai desu." And I love it because it's like, I have a headache. I don't know. I just like that phrase. I also like "Kore wa enpitsu," which is "this is a pencil." Aren't they funny? And "Anato o name wa nan desu ka?" which is, what is your name? What are you called? Whatever.
You can always say oname wa nan desu ka. I just like saying anata o, which is you. So yeah. So I still remember a lot of it. Anata o aishite imasu, which is I love you. So there's some things I love to say and still do. But really, the goal was to read my 200 comic books, which I still have. And if you want to see them, ask me. I'll show them. But I love them. And that's why I took Japanese. And when I went over to Japan, finally, after 6 tries, never give up, never give up, never surrender, is because I wanted to go there and see that land. I wanted to meet the Japanese people, and I just wanted to be immersed in Japan and they revere Godzilla, which is so cool. It's so cool. They have a statue erected to Godzilla. When I was there with my husband, that was my second visit, we actually got to see the passing of the baton, if you will, from the classic Godzilla performer, the man who did Godzilla for centuries. He was now stepping down and handing the mantle to the next Godzilla performer. And that was off the chain. So my mother would say, "Did you see Mount Fuji?" And I was like, "Yeah," in the bullet train as I was on my way to meet Japanese artists. Because I spent a lot of time meeting Japanese artists. I wanted to meet the guy who built the Godzilla suit, which I did, and actually worked a little bit with him. And then I wanted to meet artists who were doing creative things in Japan. And I worked on Ultraman as well. I have the jacket if you want to see the coat. I did that when they came to US to work. But when I was in Japan, I met an artist who loved Ultraman, and he did an art gallery show in a mall, really cool, of the various components of, he did a study and kind of an observation, and then he created things around Ultraman and the character of Ultraman. It was just amazing. Oh my gosh, guys. Just what a beautiful land, what a beautiful place, and what a great park. Their park is like, wow, especially Disney Seas. Whoa. So, yeah, so I love Japan. I love the people. I love going and traveling and meeting people and hearing their stories and being with them. So Stuart, I went to Billiken and met the owner of Billiken, which was like great to hear about it. And then Kaiudo. Do you know Kaiudo? Kaiudo. Makes your heart palpitate. Met the creator and the patriarch of Kaiudo. So these are garage kits that you can build. I hate to use the word garage kits because they're more than that, but they're all kinds. Just being in that place made you want to cry. It was so amazing. The sculptures are amazing. The people are amazing. The creativity is like, yeah. So, I was a happy girl in Japan. And then I haven't even mentioned the sushi. Oh my goodness. Sushi capital of the world. And the food was just amazing. So, yeah. Leo says, that's pretty incredible work. Thank you. That is, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you. Any stories about Beastly Kingdom? No. Tell me a little. You have stories about Beastly Kingdom? Stuart, I'd love for you to share them. See, this, Stuart, you bring up a really good point. And that is not everyone who's an artist knows about every character. We can't. Disney has a plethora of characters. So if you have a character you like, it's great to hear from you about them because I'm not going to know them. And then even if I know them, I may not understand enough to love them or have an opinion about them. Mickey Mouse is a perfect example of, I did a wedding cake talk for a very wonderful couple who were getting married and loved Mickey and Minnie. And she said, I have all these Mickey and Minnies who appeared that they're supposed to be in love, but they don't look in love. So I created a sculpture for her, a private, commission, which I do private commissions. And the bottom line is I'm not a fan of Mickey Mouse. I just don't really comprehend Mickey Mouse. So I'm trying to say, I love so many other characters, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn about Mickey Mouse. So here is the cake topper. This is what I did for them as a private commission. And the question she had was Mickey and Minnie in love. I need Mickey and Minnie to look like they're in love on the top of my wedding cake. And so I gave myself, my heart and soul, over to her as she told me stories of Mickey and Minnie. Now, the beautiful thing about having a commission done by myself is that I am the hands through which you sculpt. So what she did is she chose the dress for Minnie, and then she had an idea for Mickey, and she showed me a sculpture. And originally in Mickey's hands was a hat. But you know your characters, don't you? The ones you love. And she said that Disney's classics had done a Mickey with spats and stuff, but he had a hat in his hand. So the two of us, through brainstorming, and this is what's beautiful about us working together, when we create a private commission, they're not really, I mean, they're a little bit of an investment. You get classic art because you own it. You own the original. There are no others made from it. Period. End of story. It's for you and you alone. So it's an investment, I'll warn you. But what's great about this is that we came up with the idea that Mickey's going to propose. So if you look at this, oops, that was Guillermo's, sorry. Oops. I guess I should find where the other Minnie and there they are. Okay. So I'll tell you this little story. I hope you're interested. Minnie is very coy here. You'll notice that she's got a foot crossed and her hand is tucked towards her chest. This is because she really is hoping that Mickey is truly on his knee to propose this time, because this mouse has done this before and he hasn't ever proposed. So here's her face, a little detail of her face, and then the detail of her dress, all working with my friend who commissioned this. The crossed feet, as I said. Now here's Mickey. Mickey's looking hopeful. He knows that he's going to propose this time. He's holding the ring box. The ring is in the hand and he's going to do it, right? But here's the part that made my friend cry. 1,000 Mickeys in her collection already, but this was what made her cry. Minnie is not giving her entire hand to Mickey because she's not sure he's really going to propose. So she's careful. His hand with the 3 fingers are, I'm in. But her hand is, really, we've been here before. Okay. And that's how the whole sculpture together creates the emotion that you see here. All of it together. And she cried and she loved it. And to this day, she talks to me about how wonderful it is. And that is, why did I even start to talk about this? Well, I start to talk about this because this is how, I don't know about Beastly Kingdom, but I know someone like you, Stuart, would be able to tell me about Beastly Kingdom. I would love learning about it through people who love Beastly Kingdom. And that's the way it works. So I fell in love with Mickey and Minnie after being with people who love Mickey and Minnie. That's how I learned about the characters, and I love it. I just love it. And now for Nate, I'm creating a special Jessica Rabbit, and I have yet to show him the sketch because I'm really working over it and saying, oh, I really want him to be dazzled because I really think it's a good idea. But I want Nate to think it's a good idea. It's very different. I do not just give you your character like everybody else. This is your character. I want you to be able to step back from your shelf of your menagerie, if you will, of all your characters and be able to pick out the Terri Hardin. That's why the ghosts are different. Because I want you to be able to step back and go, those are Terry's. You can automatically say they're Terry's because they're separate. I've never seen a separate. Has there been separate hitchhiking ghosts before? This is the #1 thing you all asked me for before they were actually created. Please make them separate so I can tuck them around my, because they're playful and they're silly and they're fun and they're mischievous. So I want to illustrate that in my cabinet. I don't necessarily want them all together doing this. I got plenty of that. I'd like to have different ones where they're sort of peeking behind various areas. So that's why both sets are separate. We talked about making the blacklight set together, but we decided no, because it was designed to be apart, and that's the way we kept it. So we did not compromise on quality with the blacklight set. The blacklight set just grew from my frustration of what was happening with the illuminating set, if that makes any sense at all. So thank you for that question, because look what it sparked, Stuart. Let's see. Adam says because of Super Smash Brothers. Okay. I know what I asked, but I don't know if it's making sense in my brain, Adam. My brain is saying, why would they still say that? Do you like when they say smash? I don't know. I just thought it was a little aggressive. Ooh, it just occurred that maybe it's because of those old school bells in stores. Okay, to ring for service. Many, maybe not. I have no idea, but smash the bell. You know what? That is interesting, Bonnie. That's an interesting idea because, right, you go ding, 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 right? And that is kind of a smash gesture, isn't it? Ga-ding, 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 ga-ding. In fact, my friend, gosh, that gives me another story. See, I'm all full of stories. I'm giving you the full 3 hours today. You can tell I am. There were these classic haunted Tower of Terror bells, and a couple people gave them to Mark Silverman, and he ended up signing and selling them. Mark Silverman did the voice when it was the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. He did the voice of Rod Serling, and these were great for him. These were a great thing for him to sign and for people to purchase with them, with his signature. And I'm still sad they took that out because it's one of my favorite. Dan O'Quinn, your second time. Oh, I'm so excited you're here. That is the film industry. I was on an outside Disney job where I had to go talk to the Imagineers about duping something they built. They took forever to come out and talk to me. And when they did show up, sloth moved. Dan, you're adorable. Sloths move faster. It's true. The park process is so different from the film industry. And Dan, you bring a good point because they brought us in from the film industry to speed up Disneyland Paris. It was moving at a snail's pace, and they thought, hey, if we pull in some of these film people. But what we learned is we couldn't go as fast as we normally could because we would get into trouble. We did a lot of do-overs, which would drive us crazy. But we couldn't go as slow as they did because it just wasn't in our DNA. So we had to find that happy medium, or tricks of the trade, if you will. And that's when John Horney, who I probably should show you some of his work. That's when John Horney told me the story of the green chair. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Give you a little cliffhanger there. But you're right, Dan. On the flip side of that, if you want to learn more about Dalton Trumbo, highly recommend reading I Am Spartacus. I love it. Okay. And this is going to sound so weird, Adam, but it's because I met Kirk Douglas. So as actors with the Screen Actors Guild, they don't now because of COVID. Hopefully they'll do it again. You got to meet people that would talk about their movies, or in this case, Kurt was doing the circuit talking about his memoir, I Am Spartacus. And here, that's one of the reasons I got all excited about Trumbo was Kirk Douglas's talk about it. In the book that you read about Trumbo, it was actually more like the movie where there were two people that were responsible for putting Trumbo's name on the credits. It was Kirk, but it was also the super famous director that I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, those two were responsible. And Kurt was amazing. It was amazing to meet Kirk Douglas. I just had been such a fan of Kirk Douglas, as Spartacus is one of my favorite films. And I adored him in that movie, I will say. But he was also really cute in a movie And Adam, you seem to be really good with names of movies like my husband, and I don't have him here. But you remember the sort of really super silly movie where Kirk Douglas was dressed in black and Arnold Schwarzenegger was dressed in blue, and Arnold Schwarzenegger played the handsome stranger, and then Kirk Douglas was the villain. And it was like watching a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoon. I love that movie, but the title is eluding me right now. And I love that movie. And I thought Kirk Douglas was so cute in that movie. I mean, seeing a man like that be absolutely adorable as a villain, it's a silly movie, guys. It's a silly movie. I mean, it's silly when Arnold Schwarzenegger is named the handsome stranger. That's his character's name. So, don't go there looking for, answers to the universe. But if you want pure escape entertainment, that is so fun, that movie. I thought it was fun. What did you think, Adam? Do you know what movie I'm talking about? Anyway, I love that movie. Grandma says she doesn't know how she had time to work. I think because she was a teacher and she had a clothing shop. She made lovely dresses. Oh my goodness, really? Oh, you're like my mother. Yeah, my mother made all my clothes when I was a little girl, and my sisters too. And then she wanted me to learn how to sew. And back in high school, we had a thing called economics. Not economics, household economics, something like that. Home ec. Yeah, that's a long time ago because nowadays in school, I mean, you're not in school, but I mean, when you were going to school, home ec was gone. It was history. Whoop, 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 gone. They taught you how to cook. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. You baked, you cooked, but you also learned sewing, all kinds of things that you could do to help you, when you were out on your own. But in home economics, they taught me how to sew, and I didn't do well. And my mother was so heartbroken because, like Grandma, she made beautiful things, and she was hoping it went down. Went down in generations. Well, she soon found out that it did go down in generations, but Terri didn't want to make an A-line skirt. She wanted to make a court jester for the Renaissance Fair that I played for years. And she wanted to make a Wookiee suit. She wanted to make, so my mother is like, how is it that you can do a court jester from a playing card that's only this big? I patterned it out. I blew it up. I made it to fit me. And you can't do that outfit. You can't do an A-line skirt. An A-line skirt was boring. So that's the kind of funny story there. And I don't have a picture of that, but if I come across it, I will. But I made several outfits, I love to do wild outfits. Okay. So if I hide this for just a moment, I will show you some of my wild and wacky outfits. Here is my Wookiee. I'm on 14-inch lifts here, and I'm actually at my college as Chewbacca the Wookiee, and I actually bought magazines from Japan to discover that he was two colors. Many people thought he was all brown. He's not. He's two colors, and I found that out in Japan because there were no copyright laws. And then here I am as the other Hope after seeing Empire Strikes Back. I made everything, right down to the lightsaber. Made the lightsaber, made the gun belt, made the hat, made Yoda, sculpted Yoda with scissors, out of foam. And then the blaster on the other side was done by my friend Jean Turnbow. Again, collaborating with other artists is a smart idea. You'll notice that my hair has come across a curling iron, and there I am, very happy as the other Hope, and cosplaying with all my friends who love Star Wars. And it was just a cool experience to be the Star Wars person. I also did the Kabuki Lion Man. There's my Kabuki Lion Man. I know how to work that sword. Yes, indeed I do. Made the outfit, did the hair, did the wig, did the makeup, did it all. So yeah, this is the stuff that I like to do. This is San Diego Comic Con. This is Ninja V Lion Man. No. Ninja versus the Lion Man. It's a show we did at the San Diego Comic-Con when the Comic-Con's costume cavalcade, as it was called then, and is now known as the cosplay. We did a thing, and they told us, we did this sword fight, and they told us not to do it because it was too scary. So we agreed not to do it, and then when we were on stage, we did it anyway. So there we were, and I took Best of Show, which was great because I was opposite some really amazing cosplayers that could have kicked my butt and taken names, but I won, and I was very proud. It's really fun to win against someone you admire that is so, so good. And then here is my Catwoman. The pattern was made by my dear friend Lynette Eklund. She's a genius when it comes to that. And then I can work a mean bullwhip. Yeah, sometimes I'll take you outside and I'll show you. But I really do work a mean bullwhip. This is me as the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. And then next to that is Magenta. I did the show for 2.5 years. This is the spacesuit. Yeah, it's quite interesting. There was a young man for his bar mitzvah, 13 in a bar mitzvah, who wanted me to come as this character. And the only thing I had to change was the garter belt and the stockings. I had to wear leotards because he was a boy. He was impressionable. We don't want to, do that to a little kid, to a young man. But anyway, this is Olga from Phoenix 2772, and I'm holding the winning trophy in my hands. This is at the 1980 comic book convention where I met Dr. Tezuka, and Dr. Tezuka was thrilled to see my Olga. Many people ask who made this, we're asking about the chest, and I used to say who made the salad because I used salad bowls for the breasts. And there I am. I cannot sit in this outfit at all, so I stood a lot, but I was very proud of that character. So there you go. There's some a little eye candy for your stuff. And if that isn't enough, you've noticed my mermaid tail right here. Okay, so let me show you what I did with her. There she is. That's my mermaid tail. This is at a WonderCon, I think. And there I am as a mermaid sitting out and taking pictures outside of a pool. I can actually swim in that tail. Maybe not now, but back then I did. I did several video shoots in Catalina where I swam with it. And yeah, it's cool. Recently, this is me on Dune, stunt doubling for Sean Young, and I'm in a suit that I built. I was on the team that built those suits for Dune, the David Lynch version of them. And then I was at a Halloween, what was it? I want to say Scream Fest, but I don't think that's right. It might have been Scream. Anyway, I did this and people got to come and wear it. My Hella hat. It's for a book that I'm working on called Light as a Feather, and this is one girl that could fit it. It does not fit my head. It was designed for others. But look how happy she is wearing that Hella hat in front of my castle. It was very funny because this convention was roadkill and scary creatures and dead people. And people would run to my booth because I had this beautiful Disney castle and the Disney artist, and take a breather between frights. So it was fun, but just gives you an idea of some of the stuff that I did as a cosplayer. I still build costumes. I still create. I still design, do wild stuff whenever I can, which is why I never have enough time to do other stuff, right? Michael Luzzy in the house says, good morning, everyone. Hey, Michael, is my dues for the Reese chapter due? Because we need to get together if you want me to pay you. So Bella, this is what I was talking about earlier on the Patreon page. Bella is now getting ready to go to bed because over there it's nighttime. So she's going to come back and watch it later. And she says good night, and she says, I love you, and she is amazing. So on my Patreon page, I'm hoping she'll do a spotlight, but we're going to need to do it maybe at nighttime, so it's her morning time. But I'm going to get with her grandma and see if I can't work that out, because I think people would adore hearing about Bella and her life I certainly do. She's an amazing young girl. She really is. Yes, yes, Adam. See, I knew you'd know this, Adam. I just saw Brother from Another Mother right there. Love Tezuka San for both Astro Boy and Blackjack. Just yes. I'm just gonna say yes because you guys you're on it. You're spot on. You're spot on, Adam. Okay, where am I? I went too far in the. Wow, I really scrolled way too fast. For all you guys who want to see all of Miyazaki's work, if you have HBO Max in the United States, most of the Studio Ghibli library is on there, along with documentaries about the studio. And likewise, if you want to see Hayao Miyazaki's first film, Lupin the Third, which is amazing because it's got a character called Samurai. See what I mean? Samurai. So cool. Anyway, it's on Netflix, and it is lovely. Also, what was I going to say, Adam? I have them all on DVD because I want to know when I want to play them. Remember what I told you? If you stream everything, if they decide to remove that because they want to, or they need to, or their contract with these films is over, you don't get to watch them. So I have every Miyazaki film. On DVD. Yeah. Or Blu-ray. Yeah. So I can watch it whenever I want. And I encourage you to do the same. Yes, I do. And it was very good of you. And what I can do as I hide that is show you, I went to Japan and I stayed I went to Studio Ghibli, which is amazing. What a Miyazaki's Disneyland, wasn't it? If you've been, you know what I'm talking about. But I will show you a couple of cool things that I got from there. First of all, Porco Russo. Isn't he cool? Yay. Yeah. Maybe I should turn the light on. But there he is. Porco Russo. I thought this was cool. One of my favorite. Okay. Because it has a plane, I guess. And then check this out, guys. Woohoo. This is one of my favorite things that I brought back. Isn't that neat? See, I have to make sound effects. There it is. Isn't that so neat? Oh, that's so neat. I think the Japanese one for this is what, as I make it work like a puppet. La puta? Anyway, again, like I told you, I watch the Japanese versions more, and it's about this big, but I really love it, and it's on my shelf. So yeah. And then Porco Russo, woohoo! Yeah, so yeah, I love them. I love those. So big fan, big fan, right? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Adam. I really appreciate it. Favorite spirit is Spirited Away. Yeah, Spirited Away is wild, isn't it? Very wild. And I'm trying to think. I might have something. I have something that I purchased from there, but I can't remember what it was. It will come to me. But at this point, it's a little bit. I'm trying to remember, but I like Spirited Away too. Very interesting. That big, tall character that kind of goes crazy and eats everybody. And then, I mean, it's really cool. I love both versions, but that is a personal preference. Yeah. You want the films to be the way that they are. Hey there, Zim Zam. How are you? Thank you for taking a little look into my life, which is crazy. Crazy life. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Deanna. Deanna is off with her menagerie of wonderful animals. Thank you, Adam, for saying the dinosaur still holds up and you remember watching it live on TGIF as a child. That is, thank God it's Friday, and it was considered a very, very exciting #1 show slots on ABC. Yes, you're good. You're good. Love your happy face. Yours too, Joel. Yours too, my friend. I am great. It's great to see you. It's very kind of you to drop in. I agree. You can't just have one ghost. You must have all through. Exactly, Adam. And as an artist, you got to make that decision, right? You could do the single ones, but I just didn't want to do that.
it was something that was, a choice. But I did listen to you guys and do the different. So, but hit me up if any of you are interested, because I still have a few left. No worries. Yeah, no worries at all. And off he goes. Catch you later. So Adam says he'd love to join the Zoom calls. I will make sure you have all the information. I will, right now I'm not scrolling through my, my certain, special stuff, because, you're here. I got to focus here. Right. Okay. Adam says hot cereal is Quaker grits. Grits are so good. That's right. Adam, I'm with you on that one. Yummy, yummy. Okay. Golden Grams and Life cereal. Life is fun. Did you ever as a kid eat Life cereal while playing the game of life and living life? I'm just asking. You eat your Life cereal while playing Life the game while experiencing life. Just a suggestion. It's fun. I had a dog named Snowball. Aren't we creative, right? The cat was all white. And actually, as I think about it, her name wasn't Snowball. Her name was Vanilla, because vanilla is my favorite flavor. So her name was Vanilla. I don't know why I thought she was Snowball, but it was Vanilla. So the same thing, obvious white, vanilla. Yeah. I don't want to say the mind is the first to go, but there are some times when my mind is just not with me. So I just have to wait till it comes back. Adam says, I have my moments when it comes to anything Disney, and even though I never been on it, I do know quite a bit about Body Wars. I even know Leonard Nimoy directed some of the live action portions of the ride. Love Leonard Nimoy. Don't we love Leonard Nimoy? Let's just stop at Leonard Nimoy and go, yay! The voice was beautiful. His narrations were always awesome and fun. And is there a better Spock? The answer is no. So you guys may also know Kurt Thatcher. Kurt Thatcher in Star Trek 4 played the punk rocker that Leonard Nimoy gives the Vulcan grip to, and he passes out because he's annoying. Kirk is also an amazing writer, and he wrote a lot and did a lot of the art on dinosaurs. So you're going to see his name quite a bit when you see dinosaurs, which is why I'm mentioning Kurt Thatcher. But also Kurt had a big heart, and he heard that I loved Leonard Nimoy, and he knew Leonard Nimoy, so he brought him down to the set to say hello to many of us who are Nimoy fans, including me. And I'll never forget when I turned and saw him there and just said, I think that your work is phenomenal, and I know that maybe you get a lot of Spock reference, and I'm not going to be any different. I adore you as Spock. You're the main reason I watch Star Trek, and I just can't get over the arcs that your character has. Your character is mixed, so that is probably one of the reasons. I remember telling him that I loved it so much because I'm half black, half white, and he's Vulcan and human. So you tend to gravitate towards what you love. And that's one of the things that I think is going to come out now, as we get to see more characters that are a lot like us, because we're so diverse. And that's what's beautiful. Yeah. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. What day is it today? It's Friday. Oh, thank goodness. I'm losing my calendar. All of a sudden I saw something flash on my phone. I was like, oh my God, is it Monday? No, it's Friday. Thank goodness. I didn't miss the weekend. Hi, Landon. Happy to see you too. Thank you for joining me. If I had money, I'd buy that puzzle map in a heartbeat. Yeah, it's very limited. And this one is my art proof. And you're going to say, Adam, that you're safe because I'm not selling it right now. But yeah, it was a very, very intricate thing that Disney commissioned me to do. And originally Disney commissioned me to do that map for the 45th anniversary of Disneyland. So it was a while back. And But they loved it so much when I did the sketches that they said, we want to take it and put it in and celebrate the 100th anniversary of Walt Disney. And that's when they invited me to the Disneyland show of 2001. And that's when I did that map. And many of you may remember Steve Johnson, who is known for a lot of magical things being built and created. His shop X Effects, and he wrote this amazing book, I understand. And he actually worked with me and built those maps. He actually created the resin of castings of them and made it so that it worked in the puzzle. So shout out to Steve. Deanna says, love the map. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to show you guys things, you know, rather than just yap at you. I like to show you things. And I am glad you like that. I can literally talk hours about Godzilla and super excited for Godzilla versus Kong and any future Godzilla films by Toho, as long as they're by Toho. Wouldn't you agree, Adam? I think it's time to let Toho do what they do best, which is Godzilla. I mean, really? When I was in Japan both times, Toho was closed. I didn't get to go see Toho, and I hope I can get back and see Toho. But I did get to meet the Godzilla builder, the man designated for Godzilla. And I'm one of these people that is really creating innovative and doing new stuff when it comes to creating these costumes. I want to make them as light as possible, flexible as possible, fun as possible. And as a result, when I met this man who was building Godzilla and I saw how he was building them, I wanted to show him some techniques that I had created and learned on my own. And I had to be careful. And I spoke with my translator first, because even if you know Japanese and you go to visit, here is a note to you guys. You are careful about speaking Japanese because they can be so easily offended. So it's advised, if you're American and you're going over there, to employ a translator, because the translator is going to know not only to speak properly, but when to speak and when not to. And with me, this is someone you got to have. Basically, the catalytic converter that I don't own is that translator. And my translator and guide was the amazing Saki Hijiri. And Adam, you might know Saki Hijiri. He's very well known. And he was my translator. And a lot of times he would take my hand and pat it just gently like this and say like this, you know, meaning patience, wait, you know. So I really wanted to show this guy a couple of these techniques I knew would make his life easier when building Godzilla. But I listened to Saki and waited until Saki found the right moment. And then Saki did the introduction. And he was very careful and gracious, because the last thing I wanted to do was offend this artist. I didn't want to hurt his feelings or make him feel like his stuff was inferior. No, I just wanted to help him do it better. And Saki was that lead. He was that amazing translator that helped me to do it right. You guys are getting a bonus. We're over 3 hours right now. Whoa, you guys are good. I love that you stay with me, but I'm amazed. Anyway, Saki did that, and the two of us, shoulder to shoulder, him speaking Japanese, me speaking English, but the power of visuals really works. And he was so excited. And to this day, I can see the changes in the costumes based on some of the things that I showed him. And it was my pleasure. You know, the guy was struggling. He was working so hard, and he had some things that he was doing that he had to do every single time. And I showed him how to do it in such a way that he doesn't have to, you know, start back at zero. That's all I'm going to say. But it was great. It was great. And it's where I'm in my zone, is to share with you shortcuts or avenues or something fun or make you feel happy or make you laugh or whatever. This is where I'm happy, right? So it was great. So Adam, I hope you like that story, because he was really, what a love. And then Saki's father, I got to meet Saki's dad, who has since passed away. Breaks my heart, really. I love this man. And he painted the marquees in Japan. At least in Kyoto, where Saki Hijiri's father lived, he hand painted all of the movie marquees. So what does that mean? Those posters of that we see in movies when we went. All those posters of Iron Man or any advertising new movie that was coming, they where they put the posters up and you see the posters. You know what I'm talking about. Saki Hijiri's father hand painted, and he did this for 75 years. Unbelievable art. Unflippin' believable art. And a lot was Godzilla. Oh my gosh. I tried to commission one from him, but he passed before he could get it done. But I really wanted something from Saki's father. Saki's father's amazing. We had dinner. We had this amazing dinner, and I just wanted to sit and listen to him talk. I know that's hard to believe, but it's the truth. I just wanted to hear his story. So, Adam, thank you for taking me back there. I really appreciate that. The trailer is a new Disney movie. Well, I better get on it, huh? Text that to me, will you, Deanna? I know she's not there, but she'll watch it later. Big manga collector myself, says Adam. Not so much recently. I'm following to reading more Western works again, but I love manga and anime. Again, I watch both versions now because of streaming availability. And with Godzilla, I deep dived, thanks in part because of Godzilla, Final Wars, and besides that film, the entire Heishi era has always been my favorite from the constant continuity, and I will agree. But there's some fun stuff. Okay, I have some favorites. I love Son of Godzilla. I don't know how you feel about this, Adam, but I love Son of Godzilla. The smoke ring bit and then the so cute. In fact, I did an illustration with 2 dragons when I was in high school based on Son of Godzilla because I thought it was that cute. So I borrowed, if you will, that idea. And that's what I call one-of-a-kind art, your Mickey sculpture. Thank you. Thank you. It's about emotion and feeling. So when I sculpt that sort of thing, I want to evoke emotion, excitement for you as the collector, because you're asking, you're giving me permission to do something really supercalifragilisticexpialidocious for you. And also I want it to be something that you proudly display because it's unique. And it is, of course, one of a kind, meaning you and you exclusively own it. It is never made for anybody else. The molds are actually destroyed. So, or a mold not even made of it. So, depending on how it's done, yeah, it's that. And it doesn't have to be, let me say this, it doesn't have to be Disney art. Okay. I did a piece for a lady in Florida that was a nativity. And it was very beautiful. When she came and commissioned me to do it, guys, let me just say to you how I wanted to move heaven and earth to get to make it. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure I can find it, but if I can, I love to show it to you, but I don't know if I can find it. Oh yes, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so this is a page of me working on it. This is called In the Hands of the Father. And up here is my wax. Is Joseph over here. We have Joseph. And you can see that Joseph is holding the baby Jesus. One of the most challenging things about this sculpture, I will tell you, are the folds of cloth. There was a lot of them. But I was very excited to do this sculpture because I'm a big Joseph fan. Okay. If anybody could be a fan of anybody, I am a Joseph fan because Joseph had to put away his doubt and trust in God in order to believe that Mary had been made pregnant by baby Jesus through immaculate conception. I mean, amazing, amazing. Think of what, try to put yourself in Joseph's place. Your girlfriend, the woman you love, is coming to you and saying she's pregnant and you haven't done anything. So I love Joseph. I think he doesn't get spoken to enough, and I adore him. So being able to do this piece was a real honor. And it's one of my favorite pieces of all time. And if you want to actually see it, I loved it so much that I asked her if I could have a copy just put in just my display case, which will never be sold because it was one of a kind. But I did ask her permission. Adam says, Beastly Kingdom is the unbuilt land that was supposed to be placed in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Really? Very fantasy inspired.
one part of a land representing the good and the other evil. Due to circumstances, it was never built, but it was in a way reimagined into Pandora, the world of Avatar, which was built on the land it was supposed to be at. Adam, you're quite knowledgeable. I did not know about that other land, but I was not actively involved with a lot of the Florida park. In the Florida park, I did the Splash Mountain boats with the rabbit on the front. That's my claim to fame in Florida. Forgive me, all of a sudden I have a yawn going on. Maybe it's the rain. I don't know. But anyway, so that's my Florida thing. I was mostly Tokyo. In Disneyland, I have Brer Fox. So in the America Sings, which could be changing, I had Brer Fox. I sculpted the Brer Fox's head. And I'm very proud of that. That was my audition piece for Imagineering, and they actually put it in the attraction. So when I went to see him, I was very excited to see that Brer Fox. And then the boat in Florida, and then also the boat and Splash Mountain in Japan. So I did the whole Ballywick there, not by myself, with a team. You know, you're always with a team. I'm all about a team. So that's cool. But that simplified the story of the land. It's more detailed if you do the research. Yeah. I'm just glad to hear it from you, Adam. Joel says the movie is called The Villain. I saw it last month. Oh, yes. Yes, The Villain. Thank you, Joel. Ah, a heart for you, Joel. I love that movie. Didn't you just love that movie, Joel? It's so silly. I love silly. I do. I just thought that was so cute. Such a cute movie. If you haven't seen it, it's silly. It's like watching a live action Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Handsome Stranger being the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote being Kirk Douglas. And it's just great to see someone as serious as Kirk Douglas is as an actor do something like that. It's just so much fun. So it's amazing. Yes, thank you, Adam. Haven't seen it yet. Want to because I heard it's literally a live. Exactly. Just what I said. Ta-da! And it is. It really is. It's just, you're going to love it. We can talk about it the next time. You really got to check it out. Loved home ec. I did too. Oh my gosh. And sorry the kids don't get to do it nowadays. The ending I watched 3 times. It was out of this world. The movie was directed by the Cannonball Run director, Hal Needham. Oh, Hal Needham is amazing, right? Brad Pitt's character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is particularly based on him. Yeah, what a great movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Didn't you think so? I just thought that was great. I think what I found, and again, I am how do I say this? I'm about supporting characters. So I love the dog. What do you do? Like, I love that. Oh, man. That was cool. That was really cool. So I like that movie. I've watched that movie several times. I think that movie is really good. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Very, very good. A little violent because it's Quentin. What are you going to do? But it's fun. It's a fun movie. I took home economics in high school, incidentally, made my own tote bag with my initials on it, which is still in the closet. Adam, you ought to show that. That's very cool. I love that kind of stuff. You love Rocky Horror as well? Uh-huh. Time warp. So my Rocky Horror story is I got to do the time warp with Patricia Quinn. Yeah. And O'Brien. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Tim Curry. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. You start to think of stuff like that and you go, wow, that was fun. That was cool. Happy to call yourself a cosplay photographer. I have one of those as well. He's a really great guy. He's only about 3-4 feet tall, named Lee Forbes. He used to take pictures he was just amazing. He's really, really good. He's he's high risk, so he's sequestered, but very talented. Joining late. Happy Friday. Hi. You see, aren't you happy that you got to join late? And it was really going long. Okay, on Blu-ray, one of the kind Blu-ray set from Disney, which also includes Castle. Yes, I'm so already see. And now you can pull them out and watch them at your choosing. Okay. If Disney should ever decide, or HBO should ever decide that bye-bye, you are set. And that's why I say get set. Porco Rosso is one of those films where I'm bored. I always turn it on. I love it. It is beautiful. And I'm not quite sure why it means so much to me, but I like it a lot. The other thing about it, it's one of the few I can watch in English because I think the casting was done very, very well for those characters. I think they do a really fine job. So I can listen to it in English without cringing, but there's some that I just can't. So I think Ponyo's pretty good too. I like Ponyo. Ponyo is pretty good with the voices. But usually I'm like, nah, want to listen to it in Japanese. Adam says he forgot to mention he got to work and shoot with the Hitchhiking Ghost during the Halloween parties a year ago. It was fun. Yeah, wasn't it? Isn't that fun? Isn't that cool? See? I'm jogging your memory too, Adam. Good for you. That's awesome. I'm watching. Love it. Yay. I'm so glad you do because it is good. For all the audience members who love Star Trek, I Am Spock is a must read. Again, I've read it. And yes, that is a must read and it's very good. Also, his film, 3 Men and a Baby, still holds up. It does, doesn't it? Yes. Very good. Very, very good. I liked it. 3 Men and a Baby's cute. I admit, added to the extra hour. I added to the extra hour, but I enjoyed chatting with one of my good friends. After all, who knows how long? Yes, it's long, guys. We're almost going to 1 o'clock and we're almost done here. And then I will sign off. I promise. There's a few more comments. Showa Era 2. I love Godzilla Megalon because of Jaguar. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Oh gosh, there's lots of people that are just buzzing on me. But now I got to remember, I can't forget that I have a doctor's appointment at 2. So I do have to sign off before 2 because I'm going to see my doctor. She's insistent. She's like, okay, make sure you do that. Okay. Both versions of the 54 films, because it's just a work of art. Without that film, you literally wouldn't have Jaws. Yes, indeed. But Jaws is really good. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. Yes, I agree, Adam. I think he does a fabulous job. And the neat thing is that you listen to the Japanese and then you listen to that. It's just it's good. It's really good. He does a great job and I love it. And finally, let's see, Adam says, and with that, I say, hope you have a fantastic day. Hugs. And Joel says, Miyazaki doesn't understand why kids like Porco Rosso, considering it's a film about getting older. Yeah, but it's got a charm to it, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Guys, this was great today. I want to thank you for sticking with me. I want to thank you for watching this. I want to thank you if you're watching it on the replay. Good for you. You went the full 3 hours. I will let you know one of the things I'm doing is creating a highlights. Many say it should be a playlist, not a new channel. But I'll be doing highlights where you can pull in a separate question and just listen to that quickly. And I'm also doing a highlights podcast that will have the questions and answers and a lot of my stories, but it will be shorter. But for those of you who are diehards like the group here, I'm going to do this at least until COVID is thwarted and reality calms down a little bit and you guys get back to your lives. So fear not. Next AMA is next Friday. I'll see you then. Monday, I also broadcast, but it's a touch shorter, a little over an hour, sometimes 2, depending on what we get to talking about. But honestly, I hope you've enjoyed sitting by the fire and chatting with us on a multitude of subjects that are joyful and fun and really don't have a lot to do with reality, do they? Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to invite you to go back to reality, but I hope you have a better spirit. You're much happier. And I'm so excited. I know I'm going to be a lot happier and doing better. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. Do something nice for someone else and you'll feel so much better. I hope to see you again. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you for making my day. Thank you so much. Arigato. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.